Greetings, family. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being patient with your girl. You know, I was doing some things, but I'm glad to be here. It is Saturday. Happy Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom. It is Saturday, April the 18th, 2026, and the time is 1:14 p.m. Interesting that we're starting on the 14th. Go ahead and get you something to drink and get a notepad and pen because I have an amazing guest today. He's going to teach us so much about staying alive, being healthy, how to use gold and digital assets in this new golden age, and much more. So if this is what you're here for, family, then please stay here. Get you something to drink, and we'll get started after we do the intro. Hola, Sister Cleo. I'm in the room.
Dr. Kia Preet, shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to
I see you all checking in from all over the world. Come on in, family. Enter the chat.
Ancient and new,
Let us know where you're hailing
showing
from.
what we all can do.
Hello, Raquel. We're grooving this morning, baby. Grooving, baby. Well, it's morning somewhere. Hi, Dr. Cheryl Watkins. Victorville, California. It's morning there. 17 p.m.
Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows
Hello, Canada. Good to see you in the chat.
to a brighter, freer day.
South H is in the house. Welcome.
Soul tribe rising,
Hello, Sister
hear her
Yolanda.
call,
See,
raising vibrations for
Shabbat
one
Shalom.
and all. Dr.
ATL in the
Kia
house.
lights the way to a new and brighter day.
And just fast. All right, Soul Tribe. I am so glad to see everybody. Welcome. I saw people from Australia, Asia, Africa, all over in the United States of America. People are hailing in, checking in. I'm so grateful that you taking the time out to join us today. There's so much to discuss. I'm elated to be reconnected with a good friend of mine today. You are going to love his magnetic attitude and all the things he will bring to the Soul Tribe. Some of you know him, some of you don't. So let's get started in the podcast. How many people do we have? We have 126 people. Keep chiming in, keep checking in, family. Hello, Birmingham, UK is in the house. Wow. You're welcome. The Soul Tribe saying they're grateful for all that we do here. Family, we only have about an hour today. So if you have any questions, whatever questions you have while our guest speaker is speaking today, make sure you write them down because he will answer all of your questions. But make sure you write them down and make sure they're concise because it's the Sabbath and we really don't want to do too much work on the 7th-day Sabbath, okay? So come on in the room. I see you here. Hi, Reverend Dr. JC. Hello, Malik. Hotep, FRB Supreme Magnetar. Good to see you. Family, this is going to be a wonderful podcast. Why did we decide to do this podcast today with this brilliant mind? Because we have entered into a golden age, a new age, right? Where we'll have advanced technology. We're going to have all our debts wiped away. We're using gold and silver in this new golden age. And so it just made sense for me to bring on this podcaster. Another thing that I don't know if many of you know this, but just recently, the United States Treasury Department approved President Trump's plan to phase out all paper money in favor of what? Cryptocurrency, which is digital assets, and gold. Gold, and whenever you see gold, it's gold and silver. So anytime the Treasury Department speaks, we need to take note because the Treasury Department is attached to the Republic, our lawful government. That means that the United States Incorporated, the other government, the cabal, is gone. It's over. We also know that the Treasury Department issued out a report September the 30th, 2025 last year that said that the United States Incorporated was insolvent. So you have the insolvency of the United States Incorporated, meaning they can't pay their debts. You see the Treasury Department saying that we issued that report out. That was right before the shutdown. The Treasury Department saying they approved Trump's plan to phase out all paper currency. And most recently, I didn't bring up this article, but the Treasury Department also approved Trump's new currency, which will be with his signature. That one will come out first as we phase out the old United States dollar that was attached to the Federal Reserve Central Banking System. And as we will use this new Trump currency with his signature that's gold back, we will usher in this era of using digital assets and gold and silver. So we're going to bring on a guest today who will talk about all those things as well as advanced technology because he has advanced technology. He has a healing center. So I'm very, very ecstatic. Who am I talking about? Listen, I don't just bring people on that I don't know. I personally met and spent time with this amazing gentleman and his lovely wife. His name is none other than Mel Carmine. And let me tell you, this man doesn't just walk into a room. When he walks into the room, he changes the atmosphere and the energy of the room because of his high vibrational behavior and attitude and energy. He was born under a Sicilian sun, the eldest of 4 children. He learned early that fire either consumes you or it crowns you. When flames tore through his family's pizzeria empire in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Mel Carmine didn't rebuild it. He resurrected it. We always talk about this being a resurrection season. He resurrected it brick by burning brick with the kind of hunger that you can't teach an individual. This has to come from within. That same pulse carried him into South Beach, where he helped ignite the iconic Soprano Pizzeria. That was a launch that he did because subtly was never his language. Impact is his language, and you'll see why. Then what happened after he launched this amazing business? 2020 happened. The whole world shut down. Then he had to pivot. Or should I say, he chose to pivot. When flames ravaged through his family's pizzeria empire in East Rutherford, New Jersey, As I said, he didn't just rebuild it, so he knew he had to do something different this time. While others folded under the weight of COVID's chaos, Mel Carmine pivoted surgically, and relentlessly. From the lush edges of Costa Rica, where he used to live, he didn't just survive, he started speaking loudly, globally, unfiltered. The kind of truth that makes powerful people uncomfortable. I met him, I know what I'm talking about. And everyday people felt somehow dangerously awakened just from the energy with which this man spoke. But for over a decade, Mel hasn't taken the so-called untouchable world of the quantum financial system and make it feel like something that you cannot hold. He changed it into something that's tangible, that you can put your hands on. You all know what the quantum financial system is. It's a sentient system that was gifted to us using ledger-based technology that we will be using as we've entered into the new golden age. His voice, it doesn't echo when he speaks, it commands. Over 250,000 listeners across 8 platforms tune in to hear Mel Carmine, learn from him, watch him, and even exemplify their lives after him. He doesn't just talk about transformation. That's why they can mimic him or exemplify him, make him their template for how they move forward. He doesn't just speaks about transformation, he embodies it. 2.5 years ago, alongside the engine of it all, his wife Amber and he returned to Cape Canaveral from Costa Rica and opened the doors of something that feels more like the future than a business. It is a biophotonic scalar wave frequency healing center where energy, sound, and vibration are used. He keeps going and he does even more. Gold is something that he works with, where he works directly with wholesalers. He has many platforms. He has a summit. He has a whole lot going on, family. If I read it all, we'd be here for a long time. This man is amazing. He, according to him, is here to disrupt the atmosphere, dismantle the deep state, and change the narrative of the world, because we've entered a new era where the golden sun, S-U-N or S-O-N, is ushering us into an amazing, amazing time period where gold will be the standard. He's not asking for a seat at the table. He's flipping the whole table over. Kind of reminds you of what the Messiah did in the Bible when he got tired of money exchangers and tax collectors. He just flipped the whole table over. This is the type of man we're talking about with Mel Carmine. And he's building something new. He's going to talk to us about all the things that he's building and has built, as he is a disruptor of the system. He's a disruptor of the deep state. He's a disruptor of the cabal. He's a disruptor of the old monetary system. This man is somebody you need to talk about and you need to learn from. Family, without any further ado, I see you all in the comment section. Some of you know who he is. Please help me welcome my esteemed friend and colleague, none other than Mel Carmine. Hi, Mel.
Wow, that was amazing, man. I can't believe you pulled that off. you did a great job. But I had a higher calling. I was a Bitcoin guy. Actually, to be quite honest, let's go to the beginning of the story. Okay. I got scammed. And, I always say there's no school in the world like the school of hard knocks. I would have traded for all the tea in China and all the gold in Fort Knox. I was into Bitcoin, and I got into Bitcoin through mining, whatever. But before that, we were approached by a friend of ours who's no longer with us, unfortunately. And he owned quite a bit of XRP. He was so looking forward to, the day it would come. He just passed a few months back. Joe said, "Hey, you got to look at this. This Dr. What was her name? I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Dr. something. It was the name. The name of the coin was OneCoin. Dr. something. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. And she turned out to be a big scam artist, a multi-level marketing thing. And anyway, long story short, it cost me €1,700. Again, that number 1,700. Okay,
17.
that number always follows me around for forever. And for €1,700, I got into the School of Hard Knocks, and I could have gotten bitter, but instead of getting bitter, I decided to get better and learn
Okay.
about this, opportunity that's given to me about digital assets. So with that said, we realized this thing's going to be a scam. It's going to be a rug pull, whatever. The name of the doctor, I can't think of, but if you pull up OneCoin, Dr. Rujat, there you go, Dr. Rujat. Yeah, and long story short is that she's gone missing. Nobody knows till this day where she's at. Either she's dead or she's living on some yacht in Dubai, and nobody knows where she's at. But anyway, long story short is she stole a lot of money. But that was my sort of college intuition into the School of Hard Knocks, right? For me to get into digital assets, which caused me to start asking a lot of questions. What are these digital assets? Then we got into a company called Omnia, and we mined 3.5 Bitcoin successfully, and we parlayed it over into XRP because my wife, there you go. My wife actually,
I saw it.
My wife actually said, "Hey, it's not going to be Bitcoin; it's going to be XRP." And she saw the writing on the wall, more than 10 years ago. And she bought her first XRP at 0.002 of a penny, and for $50, she bought like 25,000 XRP. Okay, can you imagine being able to go buy right now and buy 25,000 XRP for $50? Amazing. So, but I was very, on with the story. I wanted down with the man. I wanted down with the institution because that's the story the Bitcoin bros were selling. And so, with that said, I was at the beach one day with my wife, a beach called Playa Langosta, which is one of my favorite beaches. I'm going to share my screen here real quick.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you something that I don't know if you've ever seen this. Tell me if you could see my screen.
Okay.
There you go.
Right there.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, you see that? I took a picture of what was even more a defined X, which is the XRP logo in the sky. And I proceeded to take that picture and I sent it to my friend Kathy. And she sent it back to me and she said, "Yeah, but you forgot this. The face of God is right next to the XRP logo, the shroud of God." If you were, to look up, the shroud of God on Google, you will come up with that same exact identical picture.
Wow.
At this point, because I was in waking people up for such a long time, and the man in the sky has not come down to fix this stuff, I became an atheist. So here I am. I'm looking at the face of God next to the XRP, which my wife says is going to be the one. And I said, "Okay, God, you want me?" Now at this point, obviously, I'm no longer an atheist, and I believe again wholeheartedly. And I said, "Okay, you want me to bring the XRP to the little people? I got you. Okay, you got me." And so with that said, we started to go to work, and we gotten, connected with several brokerage firms, and we started selling XRP to a lot of little people. Now, anybody who spends, $10,000 to me is definitely a little person. The minimum investment with our brokerage firms is $10,000. There's no maximum. But if anybody wants any XRP 10,000 or above, you can send me a text message at 786-704-8817, and I'll help you get your XRP. And you have something called customer service, because a lot of these people are buying their coins on Coinbase and they're buying it on Uphold. And what's happening is they go back and they find out that their system got hacked and their money is gone. The worst place you can keep it is on the exchange. Got to get off the exchange. So that's how this all started. But before that, I was selling energy deregulation before COVID-19 got into town. Okay, so I'm sort of telling the story like Pulp Fiction. You got to go back and sort of piece it in your head. And so I got bored. I was getting fat. I'm still fat. That's one thing I love to eat, right? But needless to say, I was getting bored, and I said, what the hell? What am I going to do? I'm going to drive my dune buggy inside my gated community, living in Costa Rica. I'm like, you can't even go out. It's a New World Order. It's a police state. It's ridiculous. So I said, "Hey, Nino Rodriguez could do this. He only had like 120,000 subscribers at the time.
I
Which is
remember.
small, right? I said, if Nino Rodriguez could do this, and he was all over the place, I said, I could do this too. And out of just, curiosity, I just see if I could do it, and sure enough, I was like, okay, we got the 3,000 subscribers. I never thought we would go any further than that, and so then I got a call from a friend of mine, Gila Jed. She said, you got to watch this. And it was an interview with Sandra and Jason about the scalar wave technology, etc. And I was like, oh, here we go. And I knew about this stuff, right?
Okay.
So we put some money up because we wanted to have a place here in Florida. We wanted to move back to the States, and they called us and they said, hey, you got to come back. You're up. You're getting your machines in 3 weeks. So we had to come back here, look for a place real quick, and set up shop, which is what we did. So we have, technically speaking, an anti-aging scalar wave biophotonic energy center in Cape Canaveral, and that's what it is. It's really age reversal technology. We have an actual telomere study from one of our clients who actually sent in the blood work before and after. She stayed in the system for an entire month, and her telomeres went up by 23%. So I'm an entrepreneur. I came to America because I love the art of entrepreneurship. I love making money. I love making people money. That's just what I do. I mean, I came here not because I wanted to get a job. I could have got a job anywhere in the world, obviously, but I came here because I realized here in this country, if you really use your common sense and you got some ambition and you know how to leverage, you can make a ton of money in this country. And that still holds true today. It doesn't matter whether we are Democratic, Republican, or independent, that will always hold true in America. Is there a lot of things wrong with this country? Absolutely. Is there a lot of things that need to be fixed with this country? No question about it. But, we have allowed this to happen because Americans, I believe, love to be entertained. And because we love to be entertained, we allowed people in Washington to do whatever they wanted. And this is the result of that. And so now the car has gone off the cliff and we got the parachutes, but, we don't even know, how bad is this crash going to be, right? We're in the middle of a crash. So we're in the middle of this crash. Nobody really knows exactly when everything is going to happen, but I can assure you that things are happening slowly. The crash is a slow motion demolition situation. Donald Trump is not playing. Donald Trump is going to go down as being the most genius president, and he just signed into executive order, this drug called Abigail. Abigail. Okay, right now, just happened a day or two ago with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan went to the actual the White House, and they signed that into law. What is Abigail? Well, Abigail is a drug that they swept under the rug back in the 70s because it works. Okay, people can get off of their addiction: alcohol, heroin, cocaine, crack cocaine, you name it. Okay, literally within 2 or 3 doses, you're done. Okay. And so now this drug has to be administered under supervision, whatever, but it is an unbelievable. This is the stuff that the medical industry, that's why I love when you said Mel Carmine is a disruptor. I am a disruptor. That's why I love Donald Trump so much. He is a disruptor. Okay. So, there's still a lot of things to go. I mean, look, when you look at it like this, why in the world, for example, right? Getting back to the, frequency technology, why in the world would he put that artificial intelligence produced video of him, right? Talking about med beds. And we know it was artificial intelligence. Everybody knew it was an AI, well-produced video, etc. I believe he did that because he wants people out there to know that this is coming. He's getting us prepped. He wasn't trolling us. Okay? Why is he tweeting out 5 days ago the biggest global reset with the word reset in all caps with a bunch of exclamation? Because he wants people to know to get ready. And right now, you should be stocking up on silver like it's going out of style.
Absolutely.
I got people calling me right now with tremendous amounts of money, and I'm one of the very few that can still get you the silver. CarminesGold.com. I could get you as much as you want. Minimum is now 50,000, and there's no maximum. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you right now, we're connected to 7 of the not the biggest in the United States, the biggest in the world, wholesalers. We get prices that are literally rock bottom. One of my friends, I can't mention their name because for non-disclosure agreements, but the reality is these 2 people, husband and wife, just bought $500,000 worth of silver. They cannot believe the price they got. They said we would have to go to so and so directly to get the same price, but we are direct to that company, and they did okay. So now they're on the verge of, where do we store it? How do we safeguard it? Because they know it's coming. We know that silver at some point is going to be unobtainable, and when that happens, you're going to see silver prices of $8,000-$10,000 is not going to be out of the realm, and even much higher than that.
Before we go further into silver and gold, first of all, Sister Elizabeth said Mel sounds like a New Yorker.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
His family, was your family from New Jersey, right?
Yeah, New Jersey, New York, Manhattan, Bronx. Those are all my stomping grounds. Brooklyn. Yeah.
So let's get back to. Are you still into digital assets, XRP, XLM?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we accumulate as much as we can, because you're going to pinch yourself, Dr. Kia, at one point. That you're not going to realize that, oh my God, $1.49, whatever it is this morning, price tag. When we fast forward maybe 3-4 years into the future, and XRP does reach that milestone of say $10,000, and you go back, and you say, you mean I could have bought it for $1.49 back in 2026? Yes. And so the people that don't do that are going to have the same reaction as the people who didn't buy Bitcoin. I was one of the guys who didn't buy Bitcoin. I knew about Bitcoin when it was 000 and a number 8, which means for $1 you could buy 800 Bitcoins.
Somebody said XRP is going to make us millionaires. Absolutely. And I'm going to ask you something about XRP. Botanica, is he Moorish? He and I were just talking about that. Yes, the Sicilians have African ancestry. Not that it matters over here in the Soul Tribe. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we are definitely. My grandmother, I wish I had pictures of her. My mom's got some pictures of her, I'm sure, at the assisted living. I'm going to go visit her here after we get done with the XRP convention in Vegas. But my grandmother's got bone structure that's very African. Her hair is very frizzy, like Brillo, but she's white. But she's definitely, no question about it. There's definitely
a lot of people
African
don't
blood.
know that the Sicilians, that the Italians, when they came here, they were mistreated badly. And a lot of them, when they first migrated here, I know you already know that history, were mistreated, and they had to participate in the underground economy just to survive.
Absolutely,
So listen, I met Mel. He's amazing, family. I'm telling you. Now back to XRP, Mel. I've had a problem with this because I can't see it, and you've been telling me for a long time, and I got some, but I'm concerned that I'll be scammed. I had a friend who had somebody steal so much because he left it on the platform from which he bought it. What are people supposed to do once they go to Uphold or Coinbase or wherever they go to buy it? Where do they store it?
Yeah, well, if you are with one of our firms, they have their own, which is either 3 or 4 party verification system.
Yes.
So no one person could just take the money and run. They have a separate entity that is connected to the firms. That is a cold storage solution that is very safe, in my opinion.
Yes.
And it's very, very user friendly. Or you could use NanoX. If you go to QFS1776.com, there's a little black banner that will take you directly to the manufacturer. And you want to do that. Why? Because there's a lot of scams also in the hardware wallet business. There's a lot of people that buy a hardware wallet from third parties. You don't know who you're buying your wallet from. And if you don't know, does that mean that the wallet maybe was opened and tampered and compromised? Absolutely. Yeah.
You got something here. You even do irrevocable trust on your site?
We do religious irrevocable trust. Amber and I don't own the center anymore. We donated it to God. We don't. As a matter of fact, we don't own anything. Even the XRP, the XLM, the XDC, the gold, the silver, everything we own that we used to own is now owned by the religious trust.
That which is smart. Own nothing,
Yes.
control everything. Rockefeller
Yeah.
principle. So here's
Yes.
your website, the QFSS at. This is at family. That's QFS1776.com. All of this information is going to be in this. It's already in the description section of the video. What do you want us to know about this website? Because you got a lot of information.
There are a lot of videos here. The
Okay.
videos that we found were the most elementary videos that we could get out there that anybody with an average IQ can understand what this new financial system. Notice how I'm calling it the new financial system. I got to get rid of that word quantum because there's a lot of scammers out there saying, hey, you got to register your XRP in the quantum system. And when they do that, you're actually taking your XRP and putting it in a thief's wallet, and you'll never get that back. So anybody
And
that
they
says you got to
use
register,
our names. They've been using our podcasters' names to do this, to scam people.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So don't do it. If you see people like that saying that you have to register your XRP, the very next thing you need to be doing is blocking them and reporting them. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do not fall for that scam, please. I just had a guy 3 days ago, 450,000 XRP gone like that.
So here you have XRP, QFS videos. You have
Yes.
trust information. You talk about the national. So I'm not the only one talking about Nasara and Jasara, because some people say I'm scamming.
Nope.
I'm like, no.
No.
And tutorials. Okay. And then you can shop. This looks like a one-stop shop. I love this.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a great website. Amber put that together many years ago. And then we actually, it still exists, I think, somewhere on Google. But then we took all the information, put it on our own website because they got too big, too fast. People want to know information. People are so information hungry because they realize, holy moly, this is coming. It's not like something you can opt out of, you know? And so because of that, we decided to start building all these different websites for educational, mostly for educational purposes. A lot of people who've been to our website, who watch the videos and really immerse themselves, they say it is absolutely priceless. And it is priceless because nobody taught us. We were basically learning from trial and error early on. I wish I had somebody to take me by the hand and show me the ropes, but that was just, we made, 50,000 here. We lost 100,000 there. We made 250,000 there. That was the beginning. It was scary. It was a very violent, if you will, roller coaster ride. Okay.
What gives you, Mel, when I met you, you were still in Costa Rica. I'm not sure if you were married yet.
We were.
And then you're still sitting in a chair. We'll talk about the chair. I love the chair. And you were finding your way. You were podcasting. Well, to me, it looked like you were finding your way because it was right after COVID. And then you moved to Florida and you just have this hunger. I mean, this drive. Tell me about that passion in you, because now you went from there, like coming from Costa Rica, learning all this information, to you've built an empire with the staying alive technology. You do your own forums where you have speakers coming in. You have the websites. Like, we're going to get further into the businesses, but what is it for people who was like, I just need a drive on what?
I've been like this. I was born defective. I was born like this. When I was a young toddler, I remember in Sicily, my father used to take me to a movie theater called Il Corallo in a little town called Barcelona. It was the only movie theater in town. That's it.
Okay.
And I would watch Clint Eastwood, and I would say, I said, those are the American gangsters. I'm like, that's cool. They got cowboy guns. They got horses. I'm like, that's what I thought, America was as a 3-year-old. Right.
Right.
So that's but I realized early on as I started getting to my, 4, 5, 6 years old, that America is really, truly a land of opportunity. At that age, I understood, don't ask me how, but I knew that this was a land of opportunity, a true land of opportunity. Wow. And so when we got here, we immediately got into business within the first 8 months, we were already in business. So that's why Americans take this country for granted. They really don't understand what they have. If they were to travel and see how deprived people are in other countries, that they don't have all these opportunities. They don't have a lot of these freedoms. Yes, we're being sprayed like lab rats. Yes, they're selling us clothes that are poisonous. Yes, they're selling us food, because this is the last stand. America is the last piece of the domino that needs to fall, right, in order for communism to take over a stronghold all over the world, not just in the United States, but worldwide. But they never realized that the domino weighs like 8 trillion pounds, right?
Yes.
So, and now you got a guy like Donald Trump that says not only no, but hell no. And so now you got a situation on your hands because Donald Trump is actually working with a guy by the name, not to get off subject,
Go
a guy
ahead.
by the name of Jim Rickards. Okay.
I know who that is. He's an
Yeah.
economist. Yes.
Okay. Jim Rickards, very high credibility through the roof. Okay. Worked as a consultant for the Pentagon. He's worked as a consultant to a lot of the 3 and 4 letter agencies, including the CIA. We believe he is CIA, and we know for a fact, but we can't prove it because he's not out publicly out of the closet, that he sits on the board of who? Ripple XRP.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. Yes.
So you started to really connect the dots.
You know what Jim Rickards did recently? He came out and said that Donald Trump is going to release trillions of dollars of.
That's
you
where
saw
I'm at.
that?
That's the story I'm at. That's the story
Okay.
I'm getting to exactly.
Okay, let me be
He
quiet.
said that this is just a one small little Saint Germain fund, and I'll repeat that: one small little Saint Germain fund that is $150 trillion, which would put approximately $3 million in every pocket of every American 18 or older. Okay. And so they want to release that. And there's so many. Look, the reason why I came up with the movie Dear Mr. President, the first one had to do with censorship. The second one is about to come out on the 7th. We just made a decision on the 7th of May at 7:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 777, God's favorite numbers. Okay. And the reason why we did that is because a lot of people tried to explain to Mel Carmine about the straw man and how we're worth all this, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, but no one was able to ever explain it in a way where Mel Carmine could understand it, or maybe I'm just too dumb, whatever. But when I understood it, I said, okay, now I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and I'm gonna explain it in a Carmine way. Okay, dumb it down as much as we could dumb it down, which is exactly what we did. And so the movie's about to come out. That I don't care who you are, I don't care how dumb or how intelligent or how non-intelligent you are, whatever the case may be, you're going to understand this movie. Okay, and you're going to understand one thing, that you are, the all caps name is a corporation. That corporation is registered to what? Your social security number, which is a bond. You ever hear of the terminology, my name is a bond? My name is a bond. You ever hear the term, my name is a bond? Yeah. In other words, when you're trying to sell somebody, hey, my name is a bond. In other words, if you do business with me,
I just only heard your name is everything, and word is bond.
And your name is a bond, and it's being traded with the corporation. The corpse is a corpse, which is a dead entity. Okay, it's not you. Okay, they're trading a dead entity of you with the social security number and your marriage license, your driver's license, your registration, your divorce license, your remarriage license, your fishing license, your hunting license, your parking ticket, your speeding ticket, your ticket that you went through the red light. All of this stuff gets traded, and they're making interest on top of interest on top of interest. Why do you think they say sign here when you get pulled over with the police? Because you're signing, your social security number is on that paperwork, and they send it into the stock market, and you are being traded like cattle, and every single one of you is worth hundreds and hundreds of millions, and some of you are worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay, according to David Strait, he said, I've seen people worth upwards of $35 billion. It's in the movie. And we show it. So the reality is, if it's true that we're all worth this money, do they really even need to print all the money? Probably not.
No.
Right? Probably not. So here we are. We're all, on the hamster wheel. People think, oh, I own my car. I paid for my car in cash. No, you don't own your car. Don't pay for your registration, and see who owns your Lamborghini or your Chevrolet or your Ford or your Ferrari or your whatever. It's not yours.
Right.
You don't own anything. The state owns everything. Your house. Don't pay for your property taxes for 6 years.
Right.
Yeah, even your kids. If you when you are at the hospital and you sign over into that birth certificate, you're signing the contract. That's why do you think the state can come and take your kids? Because you signed them away. That's why.
Yeah. You can even put, a lot of people don't realize you can put your children in a trust.
Yeah, you can.
So a lot of people hear that. Fortunately, they know this information, but I love
a lot of people do know it. A lot of people do know it. A lot of people don't really know how to explain it properly.
That's what I was getting to. I was going to say,
because there's been a lot of information out there, and then somewhere along the way, we all look like, the dog that looks at you sideways, like, what are you talking about?
That's true,
right? And we get lost somewhere in the translation. The way we did it, like I said, the movie is $5.89, and the reason why I'm charging on this one, $5.89 is very, very famous with the XRP people, because we all want XRP to go $589 when the first swell meeting happened in Singapore years ago. So we all thought that XRP was going to go to like $5.89. So I'm charging 589.117 of a penny to attract two crowds. But the reality is the charge that we're charging this movie is going to be taken and parlayed over into the next movie, where we tell the story from the beginning, okay, of the general's meeting with Donald Trump in the room and him coming down the escalator and the sign behind them saying currency exchange, him making the announcement for the running for president, the Q movement, how it ties into the quantum financial system and XRP and XLM. And now, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of XRP, is having dinner with, Donald Trump and Eric Trump and Trump Jr. and the whole family. And he's at the White House like once a week. And the XRP ledger is part of the new treasury. And the XRP ledger is part of the new Federal Reserve system. Read between the lines. I mean, XRP is poised to be front and center to take over the world. You're either in or you're out.
You know what? I was just looking at this comment. It says, don't store your crypto assets in an exchange.
Correct.
But this person is not me, Dr. Kia Pruitt chat. That's not even me. That's somebody.
That's a scammer.
Yes.
I guarantee you that's a scammer. And if this person approaches you and say, you need to register your XRP, guess what happens?
They steal it.
You just took your money and registered into her wallet, and she's not giving it back because thieves don't give refunds.
And I have no idea who this person is in my chat using my name, but my channel is not called Dr. Kia Pruitt chat. It's Dr. Kia Pruitt and Dr. Kia Pruitt Official. So we're going to have to block you, my dear.
That's do you know how many people have stolen money in my name? I jokingly say all the time that I have more clones than Kim Jong-un. Okay. You have no idea. Somebody told me one day that there was a channel, I don't know if it's still out there, on Facebook that had 245,000 followers. Mel Carmine.
No.
Yeah.
No.
This is like a year ago. I don't know if it's still there. We reported a lot of these channels. And so there are people out there using our name to rob people. And that's what they're doing. And it's a shame.
It's a shame. It's a shame. And then we get a bad name because somebody lied on us and stole something.
Yeah. So now getting back to the straw man, yes, it's true. You don't really need a driver's license. And we've seen, all these videos with cops on YouTube. Basically, when you get a guy that really understands how to defend themselves properly, you see these cops put their tail between their legs and go in their car and they drive away and nothing happens. It's because they're a bunch of cowards. Okay. They're a lot of them know what they're doing. I hate to tell you.
They do. I wonder. They know.
Oh yeah. A lot of them do know. They're causing trouble. They're agitators, if you will. Okay. They have to make money for the system that they're in, which is broken. It's a scam. They know it's a scam, but they know that scam pays their paycheck that feeds their family. So the wheel just keeps on going and going and going. and they don't have the knowledge to go start a business. They don't have the knowledge to go become an entrepreneur. They don't have the knowledge to go get another job. The only thing they know how to do is scam people, which is what you guys are.
So I was going to say that a lot of people on my channel have heard and they know that the social security number is attached to a bank account, but we don't know how it works. And this is what I like about your movie. You explain it in a way that it makes sense. Like, even if I just had a 6th grade education, which, by the way, I studied journalism, and they told us in school when I was first studying journalism, is you always want to make sure that somebody that's with a 6th grade education or 5th grade, 6th grade can understand the language that you use when you're reporting something. So this is what I love about the at least the promo of the movie that I saw. And if it's okay with you, I would like for the Soul Tribe to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, play the 2 trailers, are amazing.
Okay, let's see. Which one should we start with first? Because I have 2 up here.
Either or.
Okay, I have the documentary about the straw man, and then I don't know what the other one is. I'll bring that one up first, since that's the one I have readily available. Do you want to say something about this before we bring it up?
Yeah, okay. Play, and then we'll
Okay, here we go. This is a documentary about the straw man, a movie.
This is a trailer.
A trailer, sorry about that.
Right.
Okay.
Trailer.
By Mel Carmine and Company.
A structure so deeply embedded, most of those inside it don't even realize what they are a part of. Institutions you trusted operating within a framework you were never meant to question. And while you worked, struggled to survive, something bigger was moving behind the curtain. In this documentary, we exposed the largest financial deception in the history of mankind. Not with options, but with evidence. Irrefutable, irrevocable, undeniable. This is not about politics. This is about power. This is about control. And most importantly, this is about you. Because the moment you truly see it, the illusion collapses. The distractions lose its grip. The noise disappears. And the question becomes unavoidable. When this film is released, the truth will no longer be hidden. It will be undeniable, uncontainable, unstoppable. My job is to expose it. Your job is to make sure the world sees it. Now, will you have the courage to face it, to share it, to break free from the system that was designed to keep you enslaved forever? Or will you ignore the greatest revolution of our time? The truth is here. You will either stand up and help us dismantle the Matrix, or the Matrix will enslave you and your family for 1,000 years. The choice is yours. God knows I did my job.
Come on. Okay, you say God knows you did your job. What is your job? To expose this?
My job is to expose it, and Digital Soldier's job is to make it grow like a disease that is out of control. Because see, look, if we can make everybody in America understand and believe, right, that there were $200 million and $300 million, and we can prove that, which the movie does, beyond the shadow of a doubt, there's a lot of answering to be done, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have people up in arms and say, wait a minute. You see, in the movie, we don't show all of them, but my wife was a part of a team of 7 other people. There was a total of 8. One gentleman was here in Boca Raton, Florida, another lady up in Atlanta, Georgia, and so on. There was a total of 8 of them. And they went ahead and they paid their bills, their credit card bills, using the back of the Social Security number. They went to the special website and they put in the information, and they all got an email back that day saying, thank you for your payment. Your payment was successful. Now we show the email of this payment that we did for $2,386, whatever it was. And then 5 days later, we get an email back saying, sorry, we want our money back. Wait a minute. Is that my money? Yes. What do you want my money back for? Because they're a bunch of thieves. This is a scam. And we're exposing the scam. It's not a scam. This is a heist.
There was a website that used to be
Mhm.
GMEIutility.org, I think it was. And you could
Mhm.
put in your social security number and see all of the different companies and people that were
That are
trading.
trading you.
I had
Yes.
tens of thousands of people using my social security number.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and I don't think that there was anything I could do about it. So I started doing what you said these people did. I started paying for offsetting some of my debt using a Social Security card, my Social Security number. It went through because I found my Federal Reserve Bank that it was attached to. It went through, but then it got reversed, and I think it's because so many people at that time was doing it. This was probably like 2016,
Yeah, but you know what happens if you keep doing that? If we would
What's
have
that?
went and said, you know what, push the envelope and paid another bill, and we would have that
Uh-huh.
same situation, you know what would have happened?
No.
You get a knock on the door by the FBI. You know what FBI stands for?
What's that?
Forever bother Italians.
No.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not allowed to access your own money. They know they're scamming us. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. All these guys that are out there giving these parking tickets and speeding tickets and all,
Mm.
they are part of the problem. They're not part of the solution. That's
Okay.
why I want the flying cars. And I want to segue and go into another story.
Okay,
When
go
I
ahead.
was seventh grade, I went to the school in Carlstadt, New Jersey, which is right next door to East Rutherford, where my pizza shop burnt down. When
Before
you
you
were
go
in
into that,
Mobile.
somebody wants
Yeah.
to tell you thank you. They're saying thank you for that. They didn't know about that. There's that revelation of what you just shared that you
Yes.
uncovered. So thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, my school was called Washington School. It was a block and a half away from my pizza shop on the corner of Hackensack Street and Broad Avenue in Carlstadt, New Jersey, which we sold our house in Garfield when the pizza shop burned down. We sold our house and we bought a house was on the second floor, and on the bottom, on the first floor, was the pizza shop. So that's how we went back into business. So
Okay.
I went to the school one day, and I'm in seventh grade, and I never forget. We all got called into the gymnasium, and they had like 1,700 chairs out, literally, and everybody was watching a movie about the future.
Mm.
And in this movie about the future, and I was only in seventh grade, okay, they showed us the flying cars. They showed us the robots walking your dogs and cooking and vacuuming and cleaning for you. They showed us
Mm.
everything that we're about to go through right now. Artificial
Wow.
intelligence, robots are coming out. Uh, you're going to have a universal basic income, because if a robot could do your job more proficiently, doesn't
Mm.
call in sick, doesn't have all the drama that comes on the workplace. If you ever have a staff of 29 people like I've had, you understand all the mama drama that goes along with it. It's unbelievable. You don't have anybody fighting, you don't have anybody getting anybody pregnant, all of that stuff, right?
What?
They never call in sick. They never
Mhm.
call in sick. They work 24 hours a day. They very, very seldom break down. If they do, it's a small bill. So you can buy a
Mhm.
robot for $35,000 one time only for the price you pay a staff member, right? And you never have to worry about this person not showing up to work, or showing up to work late, or not showing up at all, or quitting and leaving you hanging. All of
Yeah.
that headache goes away, and it's all
Mhm.
coming. It's happening right now. Okay. And it's not big. And in a way, I love the fact that this generation they say, oh, this generation is lazy. They don't want to work. No, it's not that they don't want to work. They don't want to work the way you and I have worked, the way your mother and father have worked for a long time. Think about it.
Yes.
You're born. And if you figure out the entrepreneurship and how to leverage your money, and you're able to own a wellness center like mine that helps you reverse your age,
Mm.
right? So what
Mhm.
happens? So you're able to, maybe, if you're lucky, enjoy 20 years walking the beaches of the earth if you're not on a walker.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
born, you come into this earth, you work for 40, 50, 60 years, and you retire, and then 20 years later, 25 years later, on
Mhm.
average, you expire.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a life? No. The life we
Mm.
want is the life with the universal basic income. We want the robots. We want the artificial intelligence, that we use it in our favor, not for bad, right? For good. Okay. That's why, look, as an entrepreneur, I told you I was going to make the announcement. I'm going to make the announcement. We're launching I actually locked up the name. I own the name, YouTube1776.com. My lawyers were up in arms. They said, "You're crazy. YouTube is going to kill you, crush you like a cockroach." So I had to go back to the drawing board. So we shortened it. We can still use YouTube 1776.
Okay.
We're going to come up with our own version to forward to the actual URL, which is tube1776.com. And when you guys hear how this new mousetrap works in favor, just the name 1776 tells you that we are what? Patriots, and we are. And so the podcasting community, the Patriot community is going to come running like a heat-seeking missile over to our platform because we're going to build a better mousetrap. We will.
Are you saying the world into which we're going is going to mimic or mirror like the Jetsons, the cartoon Jetsons, where the robots was running everything for us?
They've had it for a long time, Dr. Kia. They've had it for they've had it for a long time. All of the stuff has been locked away at mostly Wright-Patterson and Dulce down in Utah and S4 Area 51. They have technology that will defy logic. If they were to release like 10% of what they have, and it's more than 6,000 patents, it's more like 16,000 patents. Okay. If they were to release 10% of what they have, it would literally catapult this planet 1,000 years ahead of where it's at right now. They don't want that because they realize the planet is never going to stop producing what? Oil. And they want to keep us on 4 rubber tires, which is an extension of a Model T Ford. Okay. There's Model T Ford had 4 rubber tires. Yeah. Today you have all the options and the stereo and the leather seats and the leathers from Italy and all that bullshit. But you're still riding on 4 rubber tires, which is an extension of a Model T Ford. But because they know that the planet is never going to run out of oil, because as quickly as you use it, the planet is replenishing it. Somebody wants to keep making money and keep us on that treadmill. I say bullshit to that. Okay. So we want our flying cars. Why? Well, for one, the cops won't be able to pull us over anymore.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, when you're doing Mach 17, it's a little fast for you to get pulled over. And so they've had the anti-gravitic machines. I've even had 107 who was recently at our Quantum Summit, Junior Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral at our center. We had 200 plus people there. And they have the anti-gravitic. They've had them for a long, long time. And as a matter of fact, Donald Trump, who was good friends with Nixon, who used to go visit him on a regular basis, gave Donald Trump the actual recipe for anti-gravitic travel.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't be afraid of this because a lot of people are afraid of AI, robots,
the way it's going to work, the way I'm speculating, right? You can't get in trouble when you speculate.
Okay.
The way I think it's going to work is like this. You're not a criminal. You apply for an online visa. Your passport's going to be on your phone, for example. You scan your passport. You're going to go to the Philippines, let's say, for 4 weeks. Okay. 2 hours before you, due back in the United States, you got to scan your passport saying, hey, I'm going back to the United States. But you're not going to an airport and you're not going through the TSA. You're going to go scan your passport on some computer system, say, yes, you're due back. You get in your machine. And voila, in less than a half hour, you go from the Philippines back to Miami.
I never imagined that. That sounds so much better.
Right?
Somebody explained to me the airport.
You're not flying the machine. The machine is being flown by artificial intelligence. There'll be like painted highways, skyways in the sky that you don't see, but the artificial intelligence. So you might be flying at 5,000 feet. I might be flying at 7,000 feet. There'll be other highways at 12,000 feet and so on. You get the picture, right? There'll be multiple highways painted in the sky. And you're going Mach 17 with 0 mass inertia. You're going to have crafts that are potentially as big as your, a 2-bedroom apartment that you can literally hover above the clouds and a little door opens, and you can sit there and have breakfast above the clouds, looking at Dubai.
That sounds wonderful.
They don't want that for you because disruption. The car industry is going to go away. Why? Because we don't have any more moving parts. We have technology that you don't understand, I don't understand, but yet it works.
I
We have
remember Donald
technology.
Trump talking about freedom cities and flying
Yeah,
cars
we
earlier. Yeah.
exactly. You have technology that has no moving parts, that doesn't need belts, or a water pump goes, or the carburetor or the injectors are not working properly. All that stuff goes away. Now, all the stuff is nonsense. We haven't needed it for a very, very long time. And so now what happens? The airline business goes away. The car industry goes away. The Airbnb businesses go away. Everything goes away. This is the biggest disruption in the history of mankind, and it's coming like a locomotive train. That's why we need the universal basic income. That's why we need the robots. That's why we need a lot of the stuff that's coming, because you can't run the next version of this planet without the stuff that's coming down the pike.
Mel, why are people concerned or worried about universal basic income? Every time I mention it, Nassar Jassar is going to give everybody a certain allotment per month. They're like, oh no, that's cabal. Universal basic income
Because
is
they've been so conditioned and brainwashed to think that, oh my God, this is a communism takeover. Yes, if the bad guys, let me give you two scenarios.
okay.
If the bad guys win and you're going to get a basic universal basic income, you're going to have to roll up your sleeve and say, yeah, baby, give me another shot. Oh,
Okay.
you want, hey, Mel, would you like to continue getting your universal basic income? You have to take another mRNA shot. And you'll do it because they have access and control of your money. If they can control your money, they can control you. But because of who's in power, that stuff does not apply, and it will not apply.
Now that's a good segue into gold and silver. Can you tell us?
Correct.
Because now if you own gold and silver, you don't have to worry about anybody trying to force you to take a shot. No one coin system. You will have your own bank or your own wealth management center having gold and silver. Mel Carmine and I already discussed this. I'm an affiliate with Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company, but Mel is a good friend of mine. I'm good. Mel is doing phenomenal work in the gold and silver industry. Mel, what do you want us to know about gold and silver, and how can we support you?
The gold and silver, in my opinion, again, I could be wrong, but I'm speculating. You can't get in trouble when you're speculating.
Okay.
The gold and silver, because of something called the blockchain, you cannot finagle the bagel with the blockchain.
Yes.
You're not going to drive around with 100 kilos worth of silver in the trunk of your car.
Right.
Okay. You're not going to do that. And you're not going to go into 7-Eleven and spend your silver tokens on whatever it is you buy at 7-Eleven. But what if they took the silver and the gold and they tokenized it? You ever hear of tokenization is coming? Tokenization is coming. You hear this. It's a buzzword. Tokenization is coming. And they're going to tokenize art. They're going to tokenize real estate. They're going to tokenize everything. Artificial intelligence is going to get rid of lawyers, doctors, real estate agents, call centers, all of it. The biggest disruption in the history of the world is coming, and it's so fast. And most people, when they see it and they actually can see that it's actually here, it's going to make your head spin. It's going to be wildly, wickedly fast, and it's going to be violent in many ways, because people are not going to be able to embrace it. People are not going to be able to understand what is at helms here. And so my suggestion is start reading, start watching videos that people are suggesting to you on artificial intelligence. Right now, you need to be gaining all knowledge.
Okay.
Because if you don't, you won't be able to handle what's coming. But if you're ready for it, you'll be, okay, yeah, I knew that was coming. It's no big deal, right? And you'll know how to segue into it and just continue life with whatever life offers you at that point. But, right now, we are at the precipice of seeing, General Motors, Chrysler, Ford, every car company disappearing. Look, if we get stuck on 4 rubber tires, would Mel Carmine like to own a Lamborghini? Yes. Am I going to have a garage full of them? No. I don't need to do that. That's a 3-dimensional thinking.
I see.
Oh, let me go get a Lamborghini and see what kind of girls are looking at me today. Oh, that's 3-dimensional, small brain, right? We're getting out of that. What would Mel Carmine rather own, a Lamborghini or a cool looking flying machine, which we depict them inside our movie, Dear Mr. President, Part 2. You'll see the flying cars with anti-gravitic, which are really much cooler looking, by the way. than the Lamborghini. Would Mel Carmine rather have a Lamborghini sitting in the garage, or would Mel Carmine rather have a flying car that can go Mach 17 and be anywhere on planet Earth in less than 20 minutes?
You like
I'll take the
you
flying car.
take that one, the flying car.
I'll take the flying car. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And like I said, eventually you'll have a flying car that resembles and looks like maybe a flying disc, or it could be a box. It doesn't matter. And it's a fully contained apartment.
Do you explain any of that on your website, Mel? I'm just
no, but if you read the Nasara Jasara papers, it does explain that somewhere.
right here.
Yeah, there's so much information on there.
Okay.
Yeah, but so that's where we're headed as a planetary system, and there's a lot of arguments, as far, because there's so many subjects out there, right?
There are.
And are we flat? Are we round? We don't know, because you're not allowed to have the flying car. See, you are a turkey. You're supposed to scrape the earth like a turkey until the end of time, until they think they're going to run out of oil, which they never will. Which means they'll have you on that treadmill forever, while these trillionaires need to make more trillions on your backs. Right?
That's true. That's true.
And so we need to put a stop to it. We say, no.
This is exciting.
Yeah. We know you have the technology. We want the technology, and stop playing with us.
And I think by you giving out this information, you're seeding this into our consciousness. I know that we'll be able to bring this into our reality more quickly, because now we're aware.
Yeah. Once somebody said to me the other day, how do you see the movie ending for Mel Carmine? I said, it all depends on if they give us the flying cars and we win this New World Order war and we're victorious on all fronts. And it was my favorite place of all. And I've traveled, I wouldn't say all the way around the world, but I've traveled halfway around the world for sure. And I can tell you that the most beautiful place in the world to me and my wife is definitely, as far as beaches are concerned, the best beaches in the world. Definitely. Well, I haven't been to Indonesia, but I've been to Borneo, which is Indonesia. But Indonesia's 17,000 islands, but I haven't been to Bali, which is the main islands, right? But the reality is, the best beaches in the world are in the Philippines and Indonesia.
Really?
The most gorgeous beaches in the world. The most beautiful places in the world, as far as I'm concerned, Italy and California. Very, very, very similar.
Oh my God, California! I loved California.
Love California. Yeah. So if we have peace on Earth, and we created a status of heaven on Earth, and we got flying cars and clean food and clean air with no chemtrails, and clothes that are made out of hemp, and clothes that are made out of linen, and clothes that are made out of stuff that doesn't kill you, 100% cotton, and we have super organic foods, and we figured out how to live to be 1,000 years old. Yes. And we got total peace on Earth. California. Why? Because the world becomes a lot smaller when you have something that moves at Mach 17. Right?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter where you live, because you could be in California and you could be in Tokyo, Japan, eating the most delicious organic sushi from some family in some alleyway in Tokyo in 17 and a half minutes.
That's awesome. Wow.
Right?
Right.
And you don't have to rent an Airbnb. You could literally hover up there and have your sushi at 10,000 feet with some contraction that opens up like a little balcony that you were sitting over there with Dr. Kia Pruitt, Mel Carmine, and whoever else eating sushi at 10,000 feet.
That's amazing.
Somebody
we have questions in the chat for you, but I want to know if you want us to, before we get to that, did you want us to see the second trailer?
Sure, let's do the second trailer. If anybody have any questions on the straw man, I will answer to the best of my ability.
And the second trailer, is that the one, The Reckoning is Here?
Yeah,
or
I believe
was it
so.
The first one? Wait, we saw one. Wait a minute. No, that might be the one we already saw.
Okay. When you play, you'll know.
Wait, let me see if that was the one we already saw. The Reckoning is Here. I think so. Where's the other one? There's another one you sent me.
I sent them both via email.
Okay, let me go to the email. And while I'm looking for that one, let me go ahead and get this question. It was.
You want me to play it here, maybe?
Yes. And somebody wants to do that for me.
Okay.
We'll get to your question, Tracy.
Okay. Share screen. Here we go. Oh. Tell me if you can see that. Can you see that? Yes? Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Stop! Don't you dare scroll! What if I told you you're already worth hundreds of millions of dollars and they're hiding it from you for your entire life? Not a theory, not a guess, actual proof. Everything you think you know about money is a lie. Everything you were taught in school was designed to keep you blind, stupid, and programmed. Every time you signed your name, every contract, every form, every loan, you weren't just agreeing, you were funding a system that's been profiting off you. They created a twin of you, a legal version, an all caps identity. That's traded like a financial instrument, a bond, generating interest on top of interest on your life. Your energy, your work, your existence turned into profit, but not for you. Your government knows, Big Pharma knows, the hospitals know. The system is broken. It's working exactly how it was designed, just not in your favor. Gabish? This film was made at a 3rd and 4th grade level. Not because you're dumb, but because we've all been dumbed down. Stripped of truth, buried under complexity. That ends now. Dear Mr. President, show me the money. A film that exposes in precise, undeniable detail what they prayed you'd never question. If it pisses you off, good. It means you're waking up. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's the truth knocking. This movie was intended to hit you hard. If you feel like you have to tell everyone you know, then it did exactly what it was engineered to do. Because if enough people see it, understand it, and move on it, there's going to be a lot of people with a lot of explaining to do, and heads will roll. The question isn't whether this is real. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Sit back or stand up? Will you claim what's yours? Will you demand answers? Will you finally stop playing small in a game built on your value? Now it's your move, because in the end, humanity wins, and ultimately, God wins.
Beautiful. Wow.
Ain't that the truth?
There's a way to book overall.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes, sir. It's time for us all to wake up.
So yeah, to me, it's been a labor of love to create the movie. I never thought if somebody told me 6 years ago, you're going to be a movie producer and you're going to be a freaking podcast, I said, you're out of your mind. There's no way. And I'm just a guy. Really, at the end of the day, it's really not that hard. It just comes down to how ambitious you are, how effective are you in being able to manage people and lead people and get people to like you. Because if people don't like you, they won't follow you. But if people like you, they will follow you till the ends of the earth. That's the truth. And people like me. I'm a character. What you see is what you get. Whether
it's what you get,
rolling, whether the cameras are rolling or the cameras aren't rolling, this is who Mel Carmine is. Get used to it. Okay.
When are those movies coming out? When is that one coming out?
Both of them. Well, the movie, the trailer is about the same movie, but the movie comes out on May 7th at 7:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So we get 3 sevens working there, right? And God's favorite number is 777.
I love it. Family, if you are enjoying this podcast so far, I always like to support the people that come on our show. Mel doesn't ask for anything, but I ask them to please, just for the sake of, me wanting to help him in his endeavors. He doesn't have Cash App. He doesn't necessarily do that Cash App, but he does have Zelle. So you can support his work if you're interested, of course, by buying the movies. And he's going to talk about staying alive as well. But you can support him by going to his Zelle, sending money through Zelle. That is it. What you can put in is his email, MMAKCOIN@gmail.com. And it is going across the screen, either at the top or at the bottom, depending on where you're watching me from, which platform. So again, if you want to support him financially, just to send him a love offering, a donation for what he shared with us today, send it through Zelle, MMAKCOIN@gmail.com, and he will greatly appreciate it. Okay. I know you. Go ahead, sir.
I'll take some questions. I think we poured our hearts out here. A lot of people
staying alive. Here.
Yeah.
Staying alive, Mel. We didn't talk about staying. Do you want to say anything about
Yeah,
staying?
let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Staying alive has been a labor of love as well. It's more Amber's project than it is mine.
Okay.
I only step in when I'm tagged in, say, hey, we need help with teach us how to explain the program. So I'll go in and do some training, or I'll talk to some of the potential clients who are coming down, and we'll record the call for training purposes, etc. So
Okay.
it was the actual staying alive was built to do events. It was built. You see, there's a stage. There's a PA system. There's a sound system with mixing boards and microphones and chairs on stage. We have a big screen, TV projector, etc. So we do a lot of movie nights. We just had a junior summit with yours truly, 107, who we believe is a fixer. I think we verified it, but we don't know for sure. For Donald Trump, what I mean by a fixer, I think he flies around the world and hand delivers things that Donald Trump feels that are too sensitive to, and he does travel more than Donald Trump. And so it was built for that, but also in the meantime, you see all those screens around you, and we have other contractions like Brown's gas, which is hydrogen therapy. We have a plasma
Oh,
med bed that if you put a light bulb in the middle of it, you will see the light bulb literally light up. We have another machine now called the energy chamber. And the energy chamber has 400,000 volts literally that go through your body. Now, the machines are not going to cure cancer. The machines provide an energy field, right? If you got cancer, for example, I think this your common sense alone would answer a lot of the questions for you. If you did have stage 3, stage 4 cancer, and you're sitting in a contraction that lights up 2 light bulbs, bright white, as if they're literally plugged into the ceiling, 4-foot light bulbs, and you're sitting through that 400,000 volts. Do you think maybe there's a chance your cancer might feel a little bit uncomfortable?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So
I see.
when you're sitting through there and your cells start to get optimized to the maximum level, which is 90 millivolts, you cannot have 90 millivolt body because our bodies are electric. Our bodies are very much like a Tesla car. If you drive your Tesla car for 300 miles, 400 miles, you have to pull over to a charging station and charge. But we don't, as humans, we don't do that. We don't pull over and charge. As humans, we don't even know. We're not even allowed to know that there is such a thing as staying alive in Cape Canaveral, which is 80% cheaper than the competition. And we set up the place where we got a lot of chairs. We could fit comfortably 55 chairs in there. And we built it that way so that we could still earn a living doing it through a volume and still offer a tremendous discount to the public, which we don't want nobody to say, oh, I don't have enough money, so I guess I got to die. No, and we'll work with you if you don't have really a lot of money.
That's awesome. That sounds like the precursor to the med beds, honestly.
Yeah. And so we built this in mind to heal as many people as possible and trying to educate people that the body is electric. And I can prove this because if you were to go to a doctor right now, and let's say the doctor says you need a pacemaker, well, guess what that pacemaker runs on? Electricity. Gee, but the doctors don't want you to know that, so they get you into this thing. If you have, that cancer, they say, oh, you need that thing that starts with a K and ends with an O. Okay. And that's very disingenuous of them because I will tell you that will deplete your immune system so fast. You literally, what you're doing when you're doing that. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not offering medical advice. I'm just offering you my opinion, and this should be taken only as entertainment only. Your body will literally destroy the entire immune system. Why in the world would anybody want to destroy their entire immune system by a factor of 100% is beyond my imagination.
Yeah.
Right? If you have stage 4, what I would suggest you do is take me up on the offer, come there, and here's the bad news and good news when you do have stage 4 and you're in really bad shape and your body's down to like 15 millivolts, not 90. Okay? Stay in there for a month. Here's the bad news and the good news. The bad news, you got to come live with Mel Carmine. The good news, you got to come live with Mel Carmine. Right? Get yourself a package, a daytime package, get yourself an unlimited package for less than the price of that thing that starts with a K and ends with an O. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm not allowed to say it because somebody thinks they own the language. It's these communist networks. That's why we are starting tube1776.com. Okay. Not to get off track. For that, for the price, for less than the price of one of those shots, you come in our system, and within 2 weeks, you're going to be like, "Oh my God, I feel better." I know that. I know that why, because I've had look at the testimonials, for example. Rhonda, who is used to live up in Titusville, now she moved up a little further north. Rhonda came in the system. She didn't have a lot of money. We had to allow 2 other people to stay with her because they were literally dragging like a corpse to the bathroom, because the bathroom's right around the corner on the same floor, about 90 feet away from my doors, and she could not make it to the bathroom on her own. We worked out a very sweet deal for her. We still call her, say Rhonda, because she's one of our most amazing story of literally, surviving, cancer. And I said to her, after she was in the system about 2 weeks, I said, "Are you still stage 4, Rhonda?" Because I said, "You're looking good." She was walking to the bathroom within 8 days, 10 days later on her own. We went from 2 assistants to 1 assistant, and they were just walking alongside her just in case she had trouble. And they never, ever needed to assist her ever again. Within 3 weeks, the second assistant went home, and she was there by herself overnight for 2 months. Okay, goes to the doctor, because I asked her one day after 2 weeks, she goes, "Mel, I don't believe I'm stage 2 anymore."
Wow.
Right? And she goes to the doctor a month and a half later, and they said, "You're like 98.999% in remission." She did the 2 months fully. She went back to the doctor completely full. We had another lady who owns a hair salon down in Vero Beach. Okay, stage 4. And this lady had some bad habits. She smoked Marlboro Reds. She came in with a bottle of gin one day, and I said to her, "Is that water?" She goes, "No, that's gin." And I said, "Whoa." Because if you're a man and you live in and you stay in our system overnight, I don't care who you are, you're going to get up a minimum 1, potentially two times during the night to go take a pee, because it wants to push all the junk out of you. Even though you didn't drink a lot the day before, you will experience it. Because I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom myself. I see this lady outside smoking and doing shots of gin. This lady she stayed, I think, 4 or 5 days. I think she did the 4-hour package. We had a special that week. She did a 4-hour package, 4 or 5 days straight. She did the plasma med bed in the morning, and she did the plasma med bed at night. She came back, did 2 overnights in a row, stayed in the system 2 overnights, went back to the doctor, and the doctor said, "I don't know what the F it is you're doing, but you're like almost in remission. It's like almost non-detectable." Fast forward months later, one of her clients comes to our center and says, "You know that lady who's a client of yours? She owns a hair salon down in Vero Beach." "Yes." "Well, she's 100% in remission."
Oh my God, what a testimony.
Because the body was fully charged to the 90 millivolts. So you're no longer in the system, but your body's already been charged to the maximum level of millivolts. And the body continues to repair the body even when you're no longer in the system. This is what the medical industry doesn't want you to know about. That's why I am a disruptor. She's right. I love disruption. That's why we're creating tube1776.com, because if we build it exactly the way it's on paper, and we stop with the shenanigans of, nobody's allowed to speak freely anymore, and bring back the rules of the Republic, not the rules of the United States of America Incorporated.
That's right.
Okay. And we can speak freely. And there's going to be some opportunities for even you guys out there to make a little bit of money with this little, without costing you anything practically. Okay. And we're going to be able to beat the pants off of YouTube. And it's going to be fun doing it. You know why? Because they can't switch gears, and they can't switch horses in the middle of the stream and say, "You know what? We're going to copy Mel Carmine." No, you can't copy Mel Carmine. You've made your bed. Now you got to lay in it. The only way you can copy Mel Carmine is you got to stop, continue your communist tube network, whatever it is, and then start a new. They're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that.
They think they own the future. They think they own you. They think they own everything in the future. I have news for you. They don't.
I love it.
You know why they don't? Because it's going to be people like myself, people like Dr. Pruitt, that hear a sucking sound somewhere. Because the system that has infiltrated all of us on the governmental level, local, school board, your township, your county, your state, and they're everywhere. This communist network, as we were busy watching The Price is Right and Survivor Island and all these dating shows and all this nonsense, they were busy at work trying to screw us, and they did a really good job of it. Now that we realize that, hey, this is real, now everybody's getting off their ass and doing something. I thought this day would never come, but you know what? This is America. If you listen very closely, there is a sucking sound somewhere, and you can make a lot of money because you could suck a lot of money out of that entire system. And when you guys find out how clever Tube 1776 is, you're going to say, oh my God. You're going to come to the quick realization, and that quick realization is only one thing, that the days of social media will be numbered.
I'll be glad. I'm glad.
Not just YouTube, all of them.
Yes.
I won't tell you my secret sauce recipe, but I will tell you this. A guy like Nino Rodriguez, who built 600,000 people, will make between $2 and $3 million a month. And I want you guys to make money out there. There's nothing wrong with making money, because I want a well-funded army. That's how you win the war. You got this. The enemy's afraid because you got firepower, baby. They don't like people who have firepower.
Right.
They want people that they could push around where you're completely under pressure. You don't have any money. They know that you don't have the wherewithal or the ability to fight them, and that's what they want. Well, that's about to change.
Absolutely. And you're helping to change it because you're disrupting the system, and you're bringing information to the family that has awakened us. We've been complicit in our enslavement to a big degree because we've gone along with the system. We've allowed ourselves to be entertained. My son, Dexter, is an economist. He said, and he also studied words. We said entertainment, and he's in the music industry as well. Well, he plays, but he was like, entertainment means to enter. You are allowing programming to enter your body while they're lulling you to sleep, with music and all the stuff on social media. So we got to turn off all the noise and listen to the information that's going to bring our vibrations up, and then do something about it.
Yep, exactly. So is there going to be some censorship? Obviously, yes. We're not going to have any sexual content, and we're not going to have anybody make any death threats.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
But if you want to start a Muslim channel and recruit Muslims and have a bunch of Muslims give Mel Carmine a bunch of money, I'm going to use your money to fight you.
What?
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Listen, when you're in business, you got to have a little bit of a gangster's mindset. And I think that's me growing up on the streets, growing up with a lot of hoodlums. And some of these guys were sharp. Some of these guys could have run Fortune 500 companies all day long. Okay. But they chose a different path in life. But there was, you can learn what to do from people. You can also learn what not to do, but take the strong points and turn them into your strong points and add your own little secret sauce recipe to it. And you could absolutely kick ass.
Oh yeah. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Well, my grandparents owned a home, so it was a relatively nice neighborhood, but you still had gangsters and criminals all around. They were smart. These people, they're not stupid. They knew how to make money. They had good customer service skills.
Oh, yeah.
You can learn a lot. You can learn a lot from different people.
Yeah. And they try to recruit me for many, many, many times.
Do you have time for questions, Mel?
Sure. I'll take a few questions.
Okay. We got a few questions. I don't see it here. Sister Janine says, Doc, please ask Mel's wife, Amber, if I can give him a big old hug.
We're not jealous people at all. We're not. You'll be surprised. I'll say this on camera. We're live here. Okay. I got a few cougars that have a crush on Mel Carmine, and my wife knows. And we get a kick out of it, you know. It's like, oh, I think she's got a crush on you, Mel. You know, it's okay. It's all good.
I don't see the question here, Mel, but somebody asked, how do you get into digital assets? Where do you buy it from?
Sure. Like I said, if you want to buy just a small amount, you can go right to Uphold or Coinbase, but just don't keep it there. Take it off the exchange as quickly as you buy it. Take it off. Go to our wallet at QFS1776.com. You'll see a black ledger banner in the top right-hand corner. Click on that. That takes you directly to the manufacturer. That's your insurance policy that you're buying the legitimate Nano X from the manufacturer and not some scammer on the internet. So I've had people call me, Mel, you told me to put the money on the ledger. Where did you buy the ledger? Oh, I bought it on Amazon, a third party. I can't help you if you can't follow simple instructions. There it is, right in the top right corner. It says ledger. See it? The little black banner?
Little black. Oh, right here at the top.
Yep,
okay.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. It takes you directly to the manufacturer. Done. End of story. Right? Okay. Yeah, don't leave it unashamed. Now, if you want to buy $10,000 worth or $1 million worth or $10 million worth or $900 million worth, I'm the guy that can get you that kind of XRP.
So you deal with big.
I deal with. I have clientele in California, Arizona, Texas, North Carolina that have private jets. They've been I call them repeat offenders because they go back to the wishing well and keep buying more because they realize this is going to be huge one day, right? Yes. I have people buying $4 or $5 million like they're buying a pate sandwich.
Pate. Okay.
Chopped liver. Fancy word for chopped liver.
Okay, I'm looking for more questions. Let's see. What did you say? Jacqueline says, Mr. Carmine, we all are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image and the likeness of our Creator. You're simply amazing. Oh, your knowledge and knowledge is power. Thank you for sharing. You are more than welcome.
Yeah. Go watch the movie and tell the people to watch the movie because we want everybody in America to say, holy shit, Mel Carmine is right. We're all worth $350 million. And then you're all going to demand answers. And then the authorities have no answers and they're going to have their hands full. And that's what we want to do. I want to maybe get it to the point where it's so dangerous that I have to, go and call some of you guys and say, hey, can I borrow your sofa for about 3 days?
Yes, sir.
So I don't mind that. Believe me, I don't. I run on zero fear, as you could tell.
We can tell.
And everybody around me is always packing heat. So I don't let anybody. You want to hang around Mel Carmine? You better be packing heat. Minimum, 2 extra mags, etc. So.
Please answer my question, Dr. Kia. Can you remind me what it was? Because so many comments came, I lost the question in NRZ. Please put it in the chat for me. And yes, thank you. Our moderator, Janine, put Mel Carmine's information. If you want to send him a gift, she sent it put it in the chat. Send him through Zelle a gift. Thank you, Sister Janine. mmakcoin@gmail.com. And if you want to send Dr. Kia Pruitt a gift, you can send me a gift via Cash App, $Mama Kia 13, MAMAKIA 13. Yes, Mel.
Right. And that email address also works. It's not for socializing or sending me a video or something like that. If you want, XRP, a large amount, 10,000 or more. 10,000, by the way, is not a large amount. 10,000 is just you're an average Joe Blow like anybody else. But 10,000.
It's not $10,000.
$10,000.
Are you saying they have to pay $10,000 or is it $10,000?
Minimum investment is $10,000, right?
Okay.
For XRP, but there's no maximum. There's no cap on how much you could buy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, family.
I'm sure there's got to be 1 or 2 multi-billionaires out there.
Okay. Any more questions for Mr. Carmine, okay, yes. Can med beds handle kidney disease and torn ligaments?
I think medbeds will handle everything. The real name for medbeds is celestial chambers. I believe that they have them. I believe that the military does have them. I believe in due time they will come out. Just like this new drug that came out that gets you off of addiction that was just signed into law today, Abigaine. That I think it was Joe Rogan who went to the White House and had he's basically sent Donald Trump a message said, "Hey, listen, we got to get this drug off of Schedule whatever Schedule
I
C
love
and put
this.
it." And he said, "Yeah, we will do it. Come on in."
I looked it up. I think it starts with it's ibogaine, something like that.
Abigaine, yes.
Ibogaine. That's
Yeah.
amazing to get
One
people
thing
off
that I would
drugs.
love to see your audience do, and I'm not in
Yes.
competition with any of you. I would, if
Okay.
Mel Carmine can have his cake and eat it too. I would love for everybody that comes into contact with us to get sort of inspired and go get a $79 microphone. You don't have to go get the $800 microphone like we. You do that after you get over 10,000 subscribers, right? But you go and get a $79, $89 microphone. And you go to Amazon, you get yourself a microphone, start a podcast, find out what it is that ticks you, that makes you tick, and just go for it. And one subject I would love to see a lot of people really take on, and this is where I think Donald Trump is failing miserably.
Okay.
And I think partially because he doesn't have a Sicilian consigliere like me. Okay. Is the chemtrails. I would love to see all you guys really fight chemtrails like crazy.
Yeah.
Get a microphone, learn as much as possible because they're not spraying us with vitamin B12. I can assure you that.
Some people have said they're neutralizing the chemtrails by spraying something else in the sky. What do you say about that? No.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, get a microphone, go camp out at your local, governor's mansion and tell them we want this thing. Or, even the president, he just signed what do you call it? Executive order that basically says the following. It doesn't matter whether I call you to give the order, but if you see these chemtrails in the sky and there is an Air Force base and you see the chemtrails, you are to get into your war machine, go up there, escort these bozos down on Air Force Base, maybe smack them around a little bit as they're coming out of the cockpit, all right? Let them bleed a little bit, okay? And take them directly to Guantanamo Bay, and let's make that public knowledge so that this nonsense stops, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's how Mel Carmine would do it if I was the president.
Yes, sir.
Was an executive order to get them and bring them down to Guantanamo Bay immediately, right now.
Immediately, because they're poisoning us. Yes. How do you make sense of going from one fiat system to another fiat money system?
Well, the fiat system is the wild, wild west. There is no blockchain that does. They could print money into infinity. We're all worth a lot of money. They're using a lot of our money for a lot of their projects, et cetera. The interest of our money. So we have to have a blockchain. We have to have a certain amount of XRP. There's never going to be more than 100 billion XRP. And as they use it more and more, it gets more scarce and it gets burnt out, et cetera. There's a formula to that as well. So it's not your regular fiat system where we can print money until the cows come home.
Yeah. So
That's
the
what gives
fiat
it its value. That's what gives it its value.
Now, you know that the Treasury Department did approve Trump coming up with his own currency with his signature on it. Would you agree that that's gold backed, and that might be a transitional currency taking us off the USD to his and then moving fully into digital, maybe?
Yeah. All monies is going to be gold and silver backed. Okay.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, Donald Trump is doing a good enough job. I give him an A- because of the chemtrails. Otherwise, he would have an A+. Okay. And the IRS, he should move a little faster on the IRS, and he should move a little faster on the property taxes. We don't need all this. Look, everybody, and not to get off subject, but everybody in the world wants to do business with America. Right? You want to do business with America? Pay us tax. It's called tariff. Okay. They have more trillions right now with the tariffs than they know what to do with. That's a fact.
Okay.
Okay. So during William McKinley, who got killed, there was no income tax, there was no property tax, there was none of this nonsense, and yet we had a surplus of cash that we didn't know what to do with. There was more money, and that's where Donald Trump is following that same trajectory. The IRS is going to be gone. Your property taxes are going to be gone. Will there be some kind of a flat tax on things you want, not things you need? You don't need a $250,000 stereo system for your house. That's a want. Right. Okay. So maybe there'll be a luxury tax on that. You don't need a $75 million yacht. That's a luxury.
Right.
Okay? So there'll be but you don't need to have, if all these countries are paying us all this money because we are the biggest consuming nation in the world, and we are, why do we need to charge the American people and keep these people on hamsters? As a matter of fact, why don't we take the money from the straw man and give it all back to them, in increments, an amount every single month for the next, 200 months, whatever. Why don't we release life extension technology like celestial chambers so that we can all live long, prosperous life and breathe clean air and eat clean food and have 1,000, 2,000 year lifespan so that we could spend all of our XRP? And I could call Dr. Pruitt and say, Doctor, I ran out of XRP. Can you lend me some XRP?
I like that. Yes.
Right? You understand? So this is we want to create heaven on earth. People say, well, if you release the technology and you release the robots, people are going to get lazy. No, that's not true. Okay, because if I have a passion to teach people how to make pizzas, for example, somebody who's got maybe an extra $200,000 who wants to go into business, I'll open up a school, and you come and I'll teach you how to make pizzas.
You'll be free to do it because you're not.
I'll do it for free because it's my passion.
It's your passion,
right? And maybe
you have the time.
Dr. Kia makes beautiful jewelry for the neck, and she'll teach you how to make some jewelry for the neck because that's her passion. And your passion is painting some, landscapes in Laguna Beach, and you'll teach people how to become an artist. People are going to do what they want to do. It's going to become a much nicer place. And what is wrong with hanging out with your family and friends and having more quality time and more time to work on yourself instead of going to work to trying to earn a living when you're already worth hundreds of millions of dollars?
The people are enjoying this.
What is wrong with going and hanging out in the sauna and working out at the gym with a personal trainer who's not going to charge you because he does it out of passion? Because he's already worth millions of dollars or billions of dollars with XRP and gold and silver and the dinars and the Zims and the whatever. And he just says, hey, I'm doing a boot camp on the beach. You got to get yourself up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And he's an ex-Marine and he's going to teach you how to get in shape. What is wrong with that?
Wait a minute. You just said something about dinars and Zims. Would you happen to be invested, or do you support investing in foreign currencies?
I do. I have some. Listen, I went into the casino. I'm a degenerate gambler, and I placed a bet across the board. Okay?
That's right. That's right. You diversified your portfolio.
Am I on Telegram? Yes, I am.
You are. Okay.
If you go to our QFS1776.com and click on the link, the Telegram link, it will take you directly to our Telegram.
And then somebody asked, how do you discharge your debts using birth certificate and Social Security bonds? This is not the time to do that, is it, Mel?
No, but we have a gentleman that works with us. We have a few other people that we're looking to bring on board as well that are looking into this, how we can absolutely, go and get in the faces of the so-called authorities, the people that think they own the future and they don't, and say, you owe us some money. Here's some legitimate paperwork, lawfully submitted, and give us our money. And they'll have to do that. Hopefully that's going to happen in the near future.
And the only reason why I say it's not the time to do it, because like you had mentioned earlier, if you keep doing that, the FBI will knock at your door.
Forever bother Italians. Yes.
Ibogaine was mentioned in the series Homeland. Oh, they used it in Nigeria. All right. Yes. That's the drug you were talking about that helps you get off drugs.
Yeah, and it cures a lot of diseases. And the medical industry, the reason why I got into this frequency business and energy, so I knew about this years and years ago. I see a day in the next 18, 24 months will be the commencement, will be the beginning of the hundreds of trillions of dollars that are currently going to the medical industry and do an about face 180-degree turn and start shifting and going to places like mine.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to be very wealthy on many, many fronts, not just XRP, not just gold, not just silver, not just the dinars and the zims and the dongs and the bolivars and all of that, because my head is screwed on straight. I understand. I see the future and I act based on what I see.
That's beautiful. And you painted a beautiful picture of the future with the flying cars and advanced technology. Sister Nadine laughed. She says, LOL. He laughs just like my uncle who transitioned. Oh, that's sweet. What's a good amount of XRP to own? Thompson wants to know.
10,000 is a good number. 10,000 XRP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you help people with getting out of the system of the corporations? That's what Sister Jalene was saying.
Yeah, that's the religious irrevocable trust. What you do is when we go to the bank, I'm glad she bought that. That's a really good question. When we take you to the bank, we actually negotiate with the bank and we change the lingo to the contract to the bank, because right now, every single one of your listeners, including myself, we own deposits at the bank that we think we own. We don't. When you sign on the dotted line, if you read that contract, the fine print says the money's theirs. That's why they're allowed to have what's called bank holidays. Because you sign the dotted line. What we do is we change the lingo in the contract, and sometimes we bump heads. And if they don't give us what we want, we will get up with our client. We'll go to another bank, and we'll get it. It's either our way or the highway, right? And they sign a contract with our lingo. Basically, what we're doing is the same thing they've done to us for 100 years. They pulled the wool over our eye. Now we're doing the same thing to them. We're pulling the wool over their eye. They're signing our contract. They're saying, yes, the deposits and everything that's registered to this religious irrevocable trust belongs to the trustee, belongs to the grantor, the trustee. I'm just a trustee. I'm the manager of the trust. I don't own it. Right? My staying alive was donated for $1 to my religious trust. My cars, my gold, my silver, my XRP, everything. I own nothing. I recently bought a gun, 1908 Colt ACP 25. It's a collector's item. It's owning a piece of Americana, a piece of history.
Okay.
And I went recently and I wanted to buy a holster. And the guy says, no. He goes, you don't want to buy a holster. He goes, you want to spray this with some silicone oil, put it in a sock, a brand new sock, and put it away. He goes, you have no idea what you're holding.
Wow.
Okay. You know who owns the gun?
Your trust.
God.
God.
Yeah, because God, I gave everything to God. My trust is I gave everything to God.
Okay, so your trust is God.
Now, if I want to drive a Lamborghini, argument's sake, which I don't have I have a much more bigger desire to have a car in my garage that flies in Mach 17 that could take me to Malaysia in about 20 minutes. Okay, then I do have a Lamborghini sitting in the garage. So, with that said, I would take that car, the Lamborghini or the flying car, and I would put it in the name of. I would go to the notary public. I notarize it. I'm giving my flying car to God. I fly the car. God doesn't fly the car. I fly the car. I will clean the car. I will maintain the car. I will do whatever to the car that needs to be done, but I don't own it.
I love it.
This is what the fallacy is. The fallacy is in ownership. When you say, I own my house, well, somebody else wants to own your house too. It's usually called the American gangsters. I own my business. Well, when you own your business, the IRS wants to get a little piece of that business.
That's right. That's right. Somebody asked me, what did you all say? What's your opinion on Wise? Have you seen the Wise?
I don't know what Wise is.
You can download it on your phone and buy foreign currencies through Wise, a Wise account. I'm sort of I play it safe when it comes to stuff like that. If something sounds interesting, I always measure 9 times, cut once. And if you do that, you'll never get in trouble.
You better ask other people, what do you know about Wise? Who owns it? Who's the management team? What have they owned before, et cetera, et cetera? Because if you go, something sounds too good to be true, a lot of times it turns out to be exactly just that, and then you get hurt.
Thank you for that. That's wisdom. Ty Speak says, Unc knows his ish. They're calling you Unc now. Unc. Are you talking about the 508? Thank you, Brother Tony. That's an excellent statement. It's a question. Is he talking about the 508c1a trust?
I believe that's what it is. Don't quote me on it, but if you go to QFS1776.com and click on that banner, there's a very elaborate PowerPoint that you can go through, and it tells you exactly what it is. But I think this gentleman, I know the 508 sounds they're very familiar. I don't know if the rest of it is accurate, but it's probably very close.
Because it's the ecclesiastical trust you were talking about.
Right. It's not the 501c3. That's bullshit.
Right.
That's still taxable.
Sister Janine is right. She said Chief Mack was talking about that. That's the one he's been helping some of you all with.
Yeah.
And the trust, yes. So the trust will get us out of their system. Is that correct, Sister Janine?
Absolutely. So listen, if you got, like, for example, 10,000 XRP that's going to be worth 10,000 or 100,000, or I believe at some point, not because we're greedy and because we need to be billionaires, but at some point it needs to be worth $1 million because they need it to be worth $1 million, not you and I. You and I are just going along for the ride, right? So the fact becomes this: if you are a financial institution that survived this war, and you are the one that's moving money, and the favorite flavor of moving money has now become XRP, and you need to move $1 million from point A to point B, and you are the financial institution that's doing that, would you rather move 1 million XRP at $1 each, or would you rather move one XRP at $1 million each? The answer is that the financial institutions, whoever the financial institutions that survived the war, are going to want a XRP that's $1 million. It's got nothing to do with market cap. Market cap is something that the Facebook bros have created just to show everybody that they're the big swinging you know what, right? Okay, the market cap is whoever is in charge. There's maybe 20, 30 people at the top of this food chain that already know how much XRP needs to be worth in order to move world commerce. Got nothing to do with you and I, got nothing to do with anybody. It's got something to do with them having to move all the money at the fastest possible way, at the speed of light, and it costs nothing. Like, for example, Michael Arrington, who's a childhood friend of Brad Garlinghouse, moved $55 million about 7-8 years ago as a test. Okay, and they moved it from point A to point B. It took exactly 1.8 seconds, and it cost exactly how much? 30 cents. That's got value. Try to move that same $55 million today through the old SWIFT system. It's going to cost you a ridiculous sum of money. If the paperwork and all the I's are not dotted properly and all the T's are not crossed properly and all of the commas are not in the right place, that transaction may kick back. You lose all of those transaction fees, and then you got to do it all over again. How many times has that happened? Billions of times. So now you have a system here that can be cranked legally to 3.5 trillion transactions per second. 3.5 trillion transactions per second, they won't never need to go there, but they have the ability to do that. They could go to 1 billion transactions per second, and they blow the doors off of Visa and MasterCard, which have been stuck at 50,000 transactions per second for years. Correct?
Yes.
So the bottom line becomes, how much do they need to crank it up to take up, to do world commerce? 1 billion, 2 billion transactions per second? In my opinion, more than enough. There's not going to be 1 billion people at the teller moving money every second. But just for shits and giggles, they're not going to limit themselves to $1 million. They're going to limit themselves to what they think the world is going to be in 20 years from now, in 30 years from now. They know.
Somebody said, dude is sitting on a throne.
This chair's got a story.
I remember that. That's not the original one you had, is it?
It is.
It's
the one I bought from. It's the one I bought from Costa Rica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You had it shipped here. Okay.
I might
And
I
when-
might get a king. I might get a king's outfit with a king's crown for Halloween. What do you think?
you should. And this has been awesome, an awesome discussion. We kept you on for 2 hours.
No, you're
even though-
good. You're good.
Okay.
I had fun.
Can you explain XRP, please?
Sure, absolutely. XRP was created out of necessity. As a matter of fact, I'm the guy that interviewed Satoshi Nakamoto at the second XRP convention in Vegas 2 years ago.
Okay.
I saw him coming from the corner of my eye and down this huge room that's like tens of thousands of square feet. And I immediately rushed to go confront him. And I said to him, I said, "You are Satoshi Nakamoto." And he said, "Why do you say that?" And this video was only 2 minutes and 39 seconds. And it went around the world hundreds of millions of times because it got recorded on my channel. It got recorded on my phone. Then people shared it on X.com. I don't know. It was passed around like a joint at a Grateful Dead concert, right? But anyway, long story short is that I said to him, I said, "You put a patent on blockchain technology in 1988. He did not deny that. As a matter of fact, he confirmed it. And I said, 1988, the internet is still not up to speed, and you had to physically wait for the internet to catch up to speed, so that we have, we go from dial-up to high-speed internet, which is what happened." And so in the year 2000, I said, "You went to go work as a consultant at DARPA," which he didn't deny. I said, in 2007 and 2008, I said, the housing bubble happened. And in 2009, Bitcoin is born. I said, that was not a coincidence. And you, sir, I said, you, sir, were at the scene of the crime. And Bitcoin is born. I said, you might be Satoshi Nakamoto. Anyway, the whole interview ended with, well, let me go a little further. I said, the only guy that can go back and fix Bitcoin is you, Satoshi Nakamoto, because Bitcoin, I said, is heavy. It takes a lot of money to move from point A to point B. It's slow. It takes up too much energy, et cetera, et cetera. I said, the only guy that can go back and fix Bitcoin and create Bitcoin 5.0 called XRP is you. And I said, and you are Satoshi Nakamoto. And he said, well, because I could be definitely one of the main ones. Okay. And people went freaking wild when he said that. And that video, I'm telling you, I'd be willing to bet dollars to donuts. That video got every bit of 100 million views on X. And that's one of my that was my claim to fame, that one. And then when I interviewed what's his name, David Strait, the late David Strait, about 6 years started my career, and that video got 129,000 views, and I only had 6,200 followers on YouTube, and that in one weekend I got 198,000 views, and now I got 53,000 on one channel, 30,000 on another channel, 14,000 others, and I can't get past 2,000 views.
Wow.
What's wrong with that picture? Right. And I leaned into I had my little, where I have them here. Hold on. Let me switch my glasses out. I had my little Neo.
Oh, I remember those glasses.
Right? And I leaned into the camera like this, and I said, "So David, tell us, is JFK Jr. still alive?" And people went nuts.
Wow.
People went crazy all over the world. That video it was climbing like 1,000 people sometimes in like 5 minutes, literally. And that was the big deal. People were like, because people would believe back then, even more so than today, that JFK Jr. is still alive. And there might be some truth to that, because I talked to 107 and he said, Mel, take a chill pill. Take a deep breath, relax.
Wow.
This is off the record, not a recorded call. And he said, enjoy the show. And he hung up the phone.
Enjoy the show. Wow.
Yeah. So there might be some
said a lot.
Yeah.
Is that a phoenix on your shirt? Somebody, Botanica wants to know.
Quantum Summit.
Oh.
That's our shirt.
We can end with that. Tell us about the Quantum Summit.
Oh my God. It was electric. It was like a revival meeting. Larry Ballard said, "You guys captured lightning in a bottle." We showed the movie after lunch, their very first day, which was a boiled down version of the movie that's going to be released here on the 7th of May at 7:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I can tell you that even 107 was having such a great time. He spoke to the crowd, the remnants of the crowd, whatever was left. There's about 60 people. Okay. He was on stage till 11:30 at night. And if he had stayed till 2 o'clock in the morning talking, because he loves the limelight. He's a wealth of knowledge, and he loves the people. He really does.
Yeah.
And he was having a blast. Him and Sheila Holm were on stage talking till 11:30 at night.
Now, what do you talk about at the summit?
They talk about everything: free energy technology, extraterrestrials, the new financial system, the straw man. We had what's his name on stage? Tom Althouse, who was the creator of the movie The Matrix. And they got stolen, and they gave it to the Chiaski brothers, and it's an incredible story. He's good friends with Roseanne Barr. As a matter of fact, you'll most likely see 107 and Roseanne Barr at the next Quantum Summit. It might not be the junior, it might be the big Kahuna Quantum Summit. You know, it might be the one where XRP's worth $25 or something like that, right? So yeah, and so is 107. 107 is very, very good friends with Roseanne Barr.
That's wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
the next meeting that happens, you'll know if XRP goes to anything over $10, $12. Expect that Mel Carmine will call me a quantum summit of sorts within 2 or 3 weeks. So go to quantumsummit1776.com. And that's where you'll know.
And now people want to know more about XRP. Can we do a part 2? Because
absolutely.
Okay. He mentioned that you can go to some platforms like Uphold. There's some
Uphold. If you want to buy $1,000, $2,000 worth, $3,000 worth, you go to like Uphold or Coinbase. You want to buy 10,000 and you like customer service, and you'll pay the same fees as you're paying to those platforms. You call me, or not call me. Send me a text message at 786-704-8817, 786-704-8817. Send me a text. Say, I got $10,000. If it's your last $10,000, don't do it. Okay. Not that XRP is going to go to zero, but if you got no income coming in and you're gambling on your last 10,000, don't do it. If you got income coming in, you own a couple of houses, and you got a thriving business, and you want to take 10,000 or 20,000 or 110,000, yeah, we could do that.
Oh, and then finally, thank you so much, because I saw this one question he kept asking it a couple times, and I'm sorry I missed you. How would this affect the trucking industry? I think he meant with advanced technology and AI. Will he have a job?
Nope.
No.
I'm sorry to inform you. Nope, you won't.
Okay.
No, you know what? Job stands for just above broke. Okay,
Yes,
they bamboozled us and they enslaved us, and we're paying all of these taxes. And I know for a fact that Mel Carmine's probably worth at least $300 million, $400 million, and here I am slaving away, and I gotta, open up another business and keep moving because somebody won't release my money. Right?
Yes.
So. No, technology is going to disrupt everything. Free energy technology is coming, so the energy companies are going to go to hell. The flying cars will come, and your your airlines, your cars, everything's going to be. You'll probably have a small little thing that flies around town, and then you'll have your fast car that goes anywhere in the world in under 30 minutes. I mean, as a matter of fact. Stephen L. Klaus. Are you familiar who he is?
No.
Okay. Stephen L. Klaus is the CEO, let's call him the CEO of Air Force Space Force, for lack of a better term. He is the general who runs Space Force, who was created by who? Donald Trump.
Okay.
And he's in front of a room talking to a bunch of alumni at a college, out of college saying, hey, I know the engineers. We got the parts on the benches. We could build technology today that could build machines that could take you anywhere on Earth to anywhere else on Earth in less than 30 minutes. This is the general who runs Space Force talking to you this way. Okay? So he had to say it that way. He can't say, hey, we already have it, because people are going to short circuit. He knows he's talking to a bunch of normies. But you don't think Stephen L. Klaus, the general who runs Space Force, knows? You better believe. If Mel Carmine knows, you better believe he does too. I bet you he knows exactly where they're located. I like to hang out with that guy. Because I want to see how big my garage needs to be so I can park one of those things.
Yes, sir. So they're correcting me. They said it's not just will their job be done away with, but what about the CDL license? Would they be done away with?
You won't need a license, because you'll have machines that will fly through the sky at Mach 17, delivering goods anywhere in the world in 30 minutes, just like they could deliver you anywhere in the world in 30 minutes, with no burning fuels, no pollution, no sound, no nothing. You'll have robots unpacking that machine or that contraction, whatever goods are being delivered wherever in the world. Labor is going to be something that's going to go away.
Okay.
Get used to it.
Get used to it. And with the corporation being gone, the United States Incorporated, all those agencies, most of those agencies will be done away with. All those licenses are a part of the old system.
Yes.
They'll be gone.
Yeah. The only thing I want is for these people to watch the movie, fall in love with the movie, because you will fall in love with the movie. There's so many great parts. I could have made the movie 17 hours long. Seriously.
Okay.
There's so many parts that we could have glued together to tell a very prolific story, but we did it in under 2 hours. Watch the movie, and I want everybody to promise me one thing. You tell 10 people and tell those 10 people to do the same, because you know what? I've written a lot of press releases, and I send them to all these press releases, Wire press release. I forget if you go to and put a press release on Google, there's the first ones that come up on the first page. They're all juiced in. They're all working for the Communist Manifesto. You send them the press release, and once they realize that this has to do with us exposing their Communist Manifesto, they send your money back. They send your press release back saying, sorry, we can't publish this.
Wow.
You know how many times that's happened?
No.
Many, many times. I'm done. So I need the public, one person telling 10 people, those 10 telling 10. If that happens 9 times, we reach 1 billion people.
And you're talking about the movie Dear Mr. President, right?
Dear Mr. President Part 2 coming up. Okay. Yes.
And here's the website. Can we find more information here? You can watch the trailer.
Everything's there. Yeah. Everything's there.
It's dearmrpresident.net. I'm going to put that in the chat. All of this is also in the description section for you all, family.
Yeah. So the reason why we need to expose this movie is so that we can piss off 317 million Americans, and they're going to say, okay, I've done my own digging. This is real. We're all worth this money. Where's my money? And if you got 317 million people asking 10 questions a day, they're going to have their hands full. And that's exactly what we want to cause.
The name is Dear Mr. President, right?
Show me the money.
Oh, show me the money. Okay. Show me the money.
You know, like Jerry Maguire, show me the money.
Wait a minute. Let me get that. Do that one more time, because I had another screen up.
Show me the money.
All right. Any final words? This has been phenomenal. We kept you longer than we agreed.
You're good.
So thank you.
I'm going right from here. I'm going right to the gym. I'm going to go hang out in the sauna and chill out.
Okay. And we can find your work on, I'm going to your YouTube channel here, Mel Carmine Podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah, Mel Carmine Podcast is my main channel. If you want to follow me, go to QFS1776.com. All of our social medias, most of it is linked up at the top there. Rumble, YouTube, Telegram, etc.
So I got that right there. I'm gonna bring up your 17.
And don't register your XRP. You don't have to register your XRP. Anybody that says you have to register your XRP with the Quantum Wallet is a scam. They're gonna scam you. And I don't want you guys contact me saying, Mel, I registered my XRP and I think I got scammed. No, I don't think you got scammed. I know you got scammed.
So here are all of Mel's contacts here. Thank you, family. Thank you for joining us. We've had a great conversation. So many people here. Ty Speak says he loves your personality.
Well, look, I'm just a regular guy from New York that likes to have fun. That's all.
We appreciate you. Y'all should see him in person. He's just as personable, cool, gregarious, full of energy in person. And don't think he's a one-man show either. His wife,
no. Look, my wife is the engine behind the whole thing, believe me.
She's amazing. You hear me?
Yeah.
And he has other people that work with him too. But you be very careful who you marry. Make sure the person you marry is aligned with your vision. She aligns with his vision, and she helps run that whole empire that he has. So it's going to
be an empire. You know why? Because I'm going to take down the medical empire. I will not rest. I want that on my when I'm 2,717 years old and they put me in the grave and they pat me in the face with a shovel for the last time. They're going to have to chisel. Mel Carmine destroyed the medical industry.
I love that. I love that. And finally, family, thank you for supporting his work. For those of you who sent in money to his Zelle, and those of you who haven't, and you would desire to, you can go to Zelle. Zelle is attached to many people's bank accounts, but you have to put in his email address. It's MMAKcoin, MMAKCOIN @gmail.com. And he will greatly appreciate the donation and the love offering. You're welcome to all of you that are saying thank you. They appreciate you, Mel.
Thank you, Dr. Kia. You keep doing what you're doing. I've been following you for about 5 years, and
yes, sir.
You're doing fantastic work.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you so much. And for those of you who sent me a Cash App gift, thank you so much. I'm gonna shout you out right quick. Thank you, Richard, for giving me a blessing. Thank you, Sister Crystal. I appreciate you. Thank you, Karen Cooper. Thank you, Sister Cynthia. Thank you, Sister Courtney. And thank you, Camerion. God bless you, Creator. Smile on you. That is $ Mama Kia 13. But remember, Mel Carmine is on often. He has a lot of documentaries he's working on. He has the Staying Alive website. He has the QFS 1776. The man is busy. Please support his work and stay informed. He's going to destroy the medical industry.
And if you come to Cape Canaveral, come and stay for a few nights, sleep overnight for 3-4 nights in a row if you can, because your body does not go into more meditative than asleep. You cannot be more meditative than sleep, because that's when the magic happens. When you're in there 3-4 days in a row, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Your body has a unique way of speaking to you, and you'll know. You're like, oh, I need more of this, and eventually we're going to make this so inexpensive, these machines, that everybody's going to have it in their home. It'd be like air conditioning. Everybody's going to have it.
Where's that? What's that website again?
Staying Alive.
Stayingalive.com.
Yeah, 2 E's at the end.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the chat again. Again, family, all of this is in the chat.
Go watch the 3-minute video about my mom's story. When you get to the landing page, there's the story of my mom. You want to watch that because that is unbelievable.
I was going to ask you about that. Where's that one? Testimonials?
Scroll up a little bit.
Okay.
Scroll up. This is the page.
A little bit. Let me see.
Yeah. Keep going. There you go. Right there. That's my mom.
How long is that one?
That's about 3 minutes.
How long is it? Should we show it or just let them watch it?
You can show it. Yeah, you can show it.
Okay. This is Mel's mom. Let's see what she's talking about. And then we'll let you go, Mel. Sorry for keeping you so long.
No, you're good.
Here we go. Okay.
There is a reason Staying Alive was born in Cape Canaveral. That reason was my mother. Before any testimonials existed, before any mission was articulated, there was simply a son watching his mother exhaust every conventional option placed in front of her. 8-hour sessions, multiple locations, endless promises. One day she called me and said, please stop wasting your money. None of this is working. I listened, and then I did not stop. I did not stop because frequency, sound, vibration, these are not theories. They are facts of physics. They are the quiet architecture of life itself. They are, whether we choose to remember it or not, the medicine of the 21st century. My mother carried more than one burden. A mass on her neck that doctors warned should not be disturbed, because once that door is open, many of you know exactly what follows. She lived with emphysema after decades of smoking, tethered to oxygen on demand she could not leave behind. She suffered epileptic episodes lasting 3 to 5 hours several times a week with no warning and no mercy. Then an opportunity appeared, a friend in Lehigh, Utah. A simple barter, time and a frequency environment in exchange for several podcast promotions. No guarantees, no spectacle, just access. My mother stayed 2 months. 2 months was more than enough. For nearly 24 hours a day, her body existed in an environment it seemed to recognize. Not drugs, not procedures, just frequency, what one might call a language the body already speaks. Weeks later, she was walking through a mall without a walker, without oxygen, without fear. The respirator now sits unused, collecting dust. The seizures stopped entirely. The videos matter. You can see her first day. This was recorded within minutes of arriving, reaching for balance that isn't there. By day 5, she is cooking again, a different person. She was a chef once. Weeks later, she is dancing with the dog. And here's the part that defies impatience. Even after leaving the system, the repair continued. 6 months later, her body, fully recharged to 90 millivolts, was still doing what intelligent design has always done when given the right conditions. The mass on her neck vanished completely. These are not medical devices. Nothing here diagnoses or treats disease. These systems emit frequencies, a biophotonic scalar wave energy that the body recognizes. When cellular voltage rises toward its optimal state, something remarkable happens. The body remembers how to heal itself. Quietly, methodically, without force. Nothing meaningful happens overnight. Anyone promising speed is selling illusion. This is real, and real things take time. That is why we chose accessibility over exclusivity. Our prices are deliberately low, often 75 to 80% less than comparable centers. So this environment is not reserved for the few. Look at the testimonials, look at the packages, let the evidence speak at its own volume. And if you need guidance, if you simply want to ask a human being a question, call us on 32150, 31670. Sometimes healing doesn't arrive as a miracle. Sometimes it arrives as a cellular structure that remembers and has just been reminded. Programming happens all on its own. Remember, we are a design made in the image of God. We are here to help you reverse all disease.
That
There is a reason.
that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, Mel. That's
That's
I'm
what we do,
speechless.
man.
I don't heard it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the place is starting to get nice and busy. You know, our center is starting to get busy. We're now launching a very aggressive Monday or Tuesday. We're launching an extremely aggressive artificial intelligence, campaign to target Brevard County, to target the surrounding counties, to target Orlando area. And we got plenty of people that understand what frequency, vibration, and holistic healing is all about. And
Now,
we
where's
have,
that? Cape Canaveral, where's that located?
that's about 10 miles from the launch pad when they launched that stupid thing that we haven't needed in about 75 years
Okay.
to go into space that might not even
Mhm.
exist. Yeah,
Okay.
we're right there. Yeah.
Southern Florida, northern, I don't know where's it.
It's Central Eastern,
Central. Okay.
right?
Okay.
It's about an hour south of Daytona.
Oh, okay.
We're not
Okay.
that far from you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm in Jacksonville. Daytona's about what, maybe an hour or less, 45
Okay,
minutes.
so you're about an hour and 15 minutes. You're about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
That's
from
not,
where
that's
we're at.
great. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sister Janine says, Doc, we love you so much. Thank you for having Mel on today. He is amazing. They really appreciate you. They're saying what you
Yeah.
did for your mom is amazing. This is a real testimony.
My mom is living on borrowed time. My mom should have been gone. My mom abused herself with cigarettes,
Okay.
How many doctors, for example, Dr. Kia, do you know that can cure emphysema? How about zero?
None. I've
How
never
about
heard.
zero? Doesn't exist. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yet her body was able to reverse that entirely, being in that system. Why? Because the cells started to get in its proper perspective. They started to get recharged, and voila, next thing you know, the body starts to heal the body. The body wants to live forever.
Mm,
The body wants to live for a long, long time. We are
okay.
now with Dr. Sinclair, who is he's a world-renowned doctor who teaches at the University of Harvard. We are now with peptides, which is another business I'm launching here soon with my good friend Frank Mancini. Peptides is going to be another doorway that we can go through and extend life for another 15, 20 years. And we got it here. It's here now. Okay.
Wow.
So imagine if you're 80 years old right now and you're able to last another 5 years, the amount of technology that's going to come out in the next 5 years. We're literally at the precipice of stopping aging dead in its tracks,
I love
literally
that.
within 6 months, a year's time at the very outside, which means we can reverse all those wrinkles and reverse you and make you look like you're 26 and gorgeous all over again. I don't look too bad for 63, do I?
63. You're
I'm
kidding.
gonna
No,
be
not
63 in
you look
September.
amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So
Can you be healthy already and go to stay alive just
oh,
to
I stay in the system more. Sometimes my wife will call me, come on home. She goes, I miss you. I said, come bring the dogs. Let's all have a slumber over party and let's all sleep here. A lot of times on Sundays we do that. We'll go in and Saturday night. We'll sleep all the way through Sunday. We'll watch a movie on the big screen and we'll stay there with the boys. My boys love it. My dogs, they feel the energy. When they get there, they get so excited because they realize they're about to go into the energy room, and
That's amazing.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
The
yeah.
dogs get
My
excited.
dogs are 16, going on. They look like puppies. They fly through the air. I got videos of my dog Max flying through the air. My dog. I'll tell you a story and then we'll leave.
Okay.
I love doing this. My dog gets a stroke. No one's able to diagnose him properly. I go to a medium that's been doing it for 44 years in California. She said, send me a picture of your dog. She looks at the dog. The dog, I wish I could find that video. Oh my God. Maybe we'll save it for next time. I'll cue it up.
Okay.
The dog goes outside to do his business in the backyard. We live on a waterway with manatees and dolphins, and they bark at the dolphins because they have no idea. They're stray dogs from Costa Rica, right? He comes back from doing his business. The dog comes back a different dog. Something happened, like really bad. I don't know what happened, but the dog, the medium says the dog has got a stroke. Okay. I was in Vegas. I said to my wife, because I was looking for a place to do the next Quantum Summit, which didn't work out. And I said, do you want me to fly home? She goes, no. Keep doing what you do what you got to do. I said, bring the dog to the center. I want him to do a session on the plasma med bed in the morning, a session on the plasma bed. I said, close the place down. If anybody gets offended for having dogs there, tell them they could leave. My dogs are staying. Okay. Plasma med bed in the morning, plasma med bed, and stay in the system 24 hours a day for a minimum of 4 days. The dog does a complete, total turnaround like it never happened.
Wow.
Like it never happened.
That's great. And people love their animals like their family, so
Yeah.
this is good. This is good news
Yeah.
that it works for the whole family.
Yeah, absolutely. So we could, we would love to have all, but some people have freaking Great Dane. I can't have a Great Dane. But it's more like a horse than a dog. But needless to say, if you bring a small dog that's well trained, that's a service dog, that that's got all the paperwork, yes, we will allow some dogs to stay because I'm a dog lover. I adopted 2 dogs off the streets of Costa Rica that people threw away like they were throwing away the garbage. Well, I got a soft spot for doggies. Yeah.
So, yeah, they're part of our family. And speaking of family, they love you. They love you. I'm reading the comments. And somebody said Mel Carmine made it to the other side. I've been following him for 15 years. Wow. You are getting who
Thank
may
you.
have no idea about this. We're getting all this information, yes, out to those people who had no idea. Wow. All right, brother. It's been great. Oh, they're saying wonderful. People can't believe you're 63. This is amazing. They're like, what? It is beautiful, the work that you're doing. I agree, family.
I got another. I want my 63 years back because I was robbed from the New World Order with interest. That means I want it back twice. Plus, I want a 2,000-year lifespan. So you'll be. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
I love that.
My telomeres are going the other way. They're growing this way instead of getting shorter. So we know
You
that
know,
we have
because
extension.
I heard that our telomeres were cut short. I heard that.
If the telomeres grow, like, they retract, right? When they disappear, you're dead. You're that's your body clock. But if your telomeres are growing the other way, right? Like Julie, my friend Julie, her telomeres grew by 23%. She did a blood test before and after. She sent that to a lab in Houston, and she got the results back. And the results say your telomeres grew by 23% in 30 days. So we have anti-aging technology right now sitting in Cape Canaveral.
Can you measure our telomeres when we come there?
When you walk through the door on the left-hand side, there is the laminated two pieces of paper with the name of the lab, the telephone number, and the email address. You can call them, set up your own blood work, send it in before, come stay in the system for a month, sleep in the system for a month, send in your blood work after, and see what your results are. We have conclusive, irrefutable, undeniable evidence that, yes, we have life reversal, life extension technology in Cape Canaveral right now. No one can argue with the science. This is an independent lab that has nothing to do with staying alive.
So you said stay there a month. Like, do they literally
stay there for a month? It costs you $3,400, less than that thing that they want to inject in your body. If you have that thing that starts with a C and ends with an R, and they want to inject you with that thing that starts with a K and ends with an O.
We will have them back. They're saying, Mel, please come back soon.
I will come back.
Great. This is great.
Thank you. And I have no way of telling if you guys zelled me or you didn't zell me. That's okay. It doesn't matter. My wife has access to all that stuff. I'm a dumbass.
The wife has access to the money.
She has access to the money, right? Yeah. We have an incredible relationship. Thank God.
She's beautiful, sweet. I went to spend some time with Mel and his wife. She had food, and then she know that we eat well. She had fruits all sliced up and smoothies, and then they took us out to dinner. And Mel spent all his money because it was me, my son, and we did a podcast together while we were there.
Yes.
His wife and some other people, they paid for us to eat well, and it wasn't it was a nice high.
And I remember her phone looked like it was like in World War II or the Iraqi War. I said, "What the hell are you doing with this phone?" I said, "Let's bring this phone." So we brought the phone to the shop. I got her a new nice screen. We get the old screen off. We got her a new casing, and the phone looked like brand new again. Right?
He did that just for me, family. Yes, he did. He did. He's a great guy. A beautiful wife. He chose well. Great business, as you all can see. So, family, our soul family is amazing, and we're all here to help each other. No matter where you're from, no matter what your political affiliation is, or no matter where your social economic status is, we're here to help humanity and to raise the vibrations of the planet.
Yeah. And you're not lazy if you don't want to go to work. We want you to work on yourself, not work to make a living. And think about this, and this is in the movie. There's a black gentleman in the movie says, think about this. You are born on a planet. You didn't ask to be born here, yet you have to pay to rent to live here. You have to buy a house. You have to pay a mortgage. The land, who owns the land? All of a sudden somebody else owns the land. The air you breathe, everything here, you're sitting on a treadmill. Everything is a treadmill. You're paying for your existence. Who are you paying to live here? Okay. I can't wait for you guys to watch the movies. I know you guys will spread it around like crazy.
We will. And it's coming out when?
May 7th at 7:17 p.m. Yeah.
Okay. And he'll be back, family. He'll be back to talk about more and to answer any of your questions. So that's it. My daughter went to go buy me something to eat. Mel, I'm about to go get some food. I love you.
Love you. Thank you, guys. See you soon.
You're welcome. Thank you, family. We will see you soon. Take care and have an amazing day, family. Okay? And I'm going to play just a second of the outro, and then so hold on, Mel.